Alrighty, let's get into it, shall we? Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Andrew Kirchhoff, and welcome to our Week 17 Sunday live stream for all the marbles for the 2023 season for our 2023 Fantasy Football Championships on the final day of the 2023 year. Welcome. Over the course of the next 3 hours, I'll be answering questions to the best of my abilities. As you guys can see to the right side of the screen, like we do every single Sunday morning, we got up-to-date rankings in terms of the top 4 primary positions. My top 36 running backs, top 36 wide receivers, top 16 quarterbacks, and tight ends. These are the remaining players. Anybody who has already participated in the game. For example, last night's very underwhelming lower scoring game, or perhaps Thursday's game, which was far higher scoring than anybody anticipated. Either way, any player that is still yet to play is available on screen to the right side of the screen if I believe they are in the top 36 or top 16 of their position. I appreciate it. Again, if you guys haven't yet already, do me a favor, click the like button down below. Also, for those of you guys who are members of the Patreon, rankings have already been posted earlier this morning, ready to go. For those of you guys who have signed up via Underdog Fantasy between August 1st of 2023 up until midnight of yesterday, those rankings have been sent out to the email that is associated with your Underdog account, so be sure to check your spam folder. Thank you very much. Okay. So I know that the biggest information as of this morning is in regards to Raheem Mostert, despite the fact that he's carried our fantasy teams thus far. Unfortunately, we will not have him available for our championship games. But a guy like Devon Achane, who over the course of the last couple weeks has been a low-end RB2 in some circumstances, last week was outside of the top 40 running backs, now has his opportunity to potentially lead us to the promised land if, in fact, you are a team that still survives with Devon Achane on roster. I'm sure that there are a couple out there, but nonetheless, overall, I think we should be in a good position today. We've gotten a couple pieces of information regarding some players. We know that Cole Kmet is a game time decision, so we'll have to wait and see how that kind of transpires in the coming hours. But otherwise, guys like Kenneth Walker, Alvin Kamara, who were questionable over the course of the week, DK Metcalf as well. Those guys should be good to go. Same as Jamar Chase, he should also be good to go this week. So we're firing those guys up. Okay. Anyway, with that all covered, let's go ahead and start answering questions so that I don't get left too far behind, considering I'm going to be answering questions for 3 straight hours, shall we? Beginning with the first question sent in via Super Chat. Again, guys, if you sent in a question via Super Chat or potentially in the live chat, please be sure to go ahead and include your scoring format. It makes it easier for me to answer it at a quicker pace. Thank you very much. Okay. We begin with Daniel Barnes' question. It says, I'm up against Lamb and Hall. I myself have a team in which I'm up against Lamb and Hall. It is not a fun week so far. I started Gibbs, so I'm in the hole. Starting Fields and going to move DJ Moore into my flex instead of Swift, thinking it's the best shot for a comeback. I need a big day from Fields and DJ Moore. Thoughts? I would think that that's 100% contingent on the weather in Chicago. As of right now, from the weather report that I'm looking at, it says there's a 59% chance of snow in Chicago today, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. So if in fact the weather permits for DJ Moore to be a relevant option, then great. Let's fire him up and let's hope for the best in this circumstance. Otherwise, the weather may force him not to be as great of a play. So then at that point, you would just play Swift. But we'll keep that monitored in the, I would say, next hour or two in terms of keeping an eye on that to determine whether the swap is one to make. Thank you very much, Daniel. Appreciate it. Moving on to Michael Barton's question. Michael says, in a PPR, what do we have here? Pick 2 running backs in a flex. We have Pacheco, Zamir White, Ty Chandler, Brian Robinson, Aaron Jones. All right, 2 running backs in a flex. The 2 running backs that I would play or are my highest ranked running backs of the group would be Pacheco, White, and Chandler. Those 3 would be the ones that I would prefer to play today. As for your follow-up question, number 2, Murray or Carr. Murray is set to play today, so I'm perfectly fine firing him up instead of Carr. And then we have Gerald Everett or Juwan Johnson. In a PPR, I'm still going with Gerald Everett in that overall circumstance. Let me check. Let me see. Where is Gerald Everett? Yeah, Gerald Everett is still ahead of Juwan Johnson. I moved up Juwan Johnson a considerable amount in the last couple of days, obviously because of how advantageous that matchup is and how well he's played as of late, and the lack of usage that we have seen from the alternative options. If I'm not mistaken, also Jimmy Graham is also inactive today. Let me just confirm that, just for my peace of mind now, because it's coming to my brain. Why did I think Jimmy Graham was inactive? Why did I think that? Now that I'm looking at the injury report, I don't even think he is. I don't know why. Sometimes I see names, and for some reason I get them mixed up. But either way, for right now, I'll take Gerald Everett over Juwan Johnson. And then your final question, Michael Barton, is it's not even really a question. It's just more of like a statement. Noah Brown, an upside play, question mark. I would say there's potential for it. If CJ Stroud comes out and is just lighting up that secondary of Houston, which, again, every offense should be looking and aiming to light up that secondary, considering that secondary. Sorry, they're playing against, not Houston, playing against Tennessee. Every team that has played against them has lit them up and could very easily do so this week. So I don't mind Noah Brown as like a wide receiver 3 option. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. CP sends in a question, says, thanks, Andrew, I've been following for 3 years. First and foremost, thank you. Appreciate the support, CP. Which for the flex in a full PPR, Chandler or Kittle? And is it even close? Let me check. Currently, I have Kittle ahead of him, but is it even close? I would say it's relatively close. I wouldn't say that they're like gapped to a point to where I'm totally uncomfortable playing Chandler over Kittle, but I just prefer to play Kittle in this circumstance, especially considering how much usage he had last week with Purdy. And, of course, this week's matchup. Thank you. Appreciate it. And, of course, the full PPR scoring format. So I'll take Kittle there. Thank you very much, CP. Sending it. Says full PPR. We have Fields, Zamir White, Breece Hall, Cooper Kupp, Mike Evans, Isaiah Likely, Puka Nacua. My bench consists of Brian Robinson Jr., DK Metcalf, DeAndre Hopkins, Chandler, Waller. Any changes to make? Thanks for all the help this year, man. Thank you very much for sending it. In regards to your lineup, I don't think I make any changes here. I like Zamir White. I like Fields at quarterback. Playing Puka, Kupp, and Evans are the 3 best receiving options you have. I like Isaiah Likely, considering, of course, he's been the number 2 option on that offense and has been playing pretty well in the absence of Mark Andrews. No, I don't make any changes there. You're good to go. Good luck this week. Thank you very much for sending it. All right, what do we have here? We had a question that came in from Creighton Life. Creighton says, Achane or Bijan in a PPR? Currently have Achane ranked higher. The issue that I have with Bijan, weather concerns on top of the fact that they take on Chicago. Chicago's been one of, actually not even. Chicago since week 5 are literally the best run stop defense in the National Football League in terms of running back rushing statistics allowed. So of the bunch, I'm not feeling as comfortable, especially considering, of course, Tyler Algier last week yoinked the rushing touchdown. They're still going to get utilization out of him in that circumstance. They may run the ball a little bit more as a team, but considering, Algier and, of course, Cordero Patterson's overall contributions, it doesn't help Bijan specifically in those circumstances. So I'll go with HN there. Thank you. We had a question that came in from G Hefe, who says, start Achane or start Achane, Ish Smith, ? Gibbs and Pollard sold me. Yeah, I'm just going to play Achane there. I'm not going to play Ish Smith. I don't really, I just rather play Achane. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, Gibbs and Paul. I mean, look, Gibbs had 2 opportunities on the goal line. Sold them both. Pretty rough there. Pollard, I wouldn't say he technically was given the ample opportunity, because even when they got down into the red zone, immediately into the play action game. Immediately. I don't blame them. They can't run the ball. That offensive line is not making it easy for him. But nonetheless, it is of the past. We move on. Thank you. All right, let's see here. We had a question that came in from Garrett Nice, who says, I hope you're feeling better, G. Yeah, I'm significantly better from last Sunday. Last weekend, I was in complete shambles, as I'm sure you guys could tell. How are we feeling about Achane, says Garrett. Overall, I mean, considering Mostert's absent and the fact that he practiced fully on Friday, I would assume this is a game in which they probably could give him 15 touches. We know how efficient he can be with his overall workload, and we know that he is a home run hitter. I understand it's a difficult matchup against the defense of the Baltimore Ravens, but especially if they're in a negative game script and we get into a position in which they're just dumping it off to Achane consistently, what I look back to is that game against get this bug out of my face. What I look back to is the game against the Tennessee Titans. If I'm not mistaken, Achane had like 9 targets in that game. We could get something close there, especially if it's a negative game script. But if it's not and they're running the ball efficiently, I mean, this could be a guy that could very easily put up 20 fantasy points on 10 carries. It's always on the table. Thank you. All right, moving on. We had a question from Chris V NYC, who says, would you make any changes in a half PPR? My starters currently are Purdy, Connor, Kyron, CeeDee Lamb, Jaden Reed, Kelsey. My flex is Zamir White. My defense is the Raiders. We have kicker as Chase McLaughlin. My bench consists of Deontay Johnson, Butker, DJ Moore, Tyjae Spears, Texans defense, and JSN. Looking at it off the top of my head, there's not really anything I changed there. You got a pretty solid team. I would consider no. I mean, I think overall, there's nothing that I'm like super strong point. No, I think that's it. DJ Moore doesn't play over either of those guys. Maybe we change defense, but I'd have to refer back to my defense rankings. Speaking of defense rankings, for those of you who are in the chat, I know there's about like I know there's about 500 of you in here. If we can get to 250 likes on the live stream, I'll be more than happy to share kicker and defensive rankings. I think I might have the Texans defense ranked higher, Chris NYC, but I think the Raiders might be literally right behind them. So I don't mind playing the Raiders today. And I do believe that Chase McLaughlin is higher ranked than Butker, so you should be good to go there. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, moving on. We had a question that came in from Ghosts. Ghosts says, in a PPR, am I crazy to start Noah Brown over Higgins? No, I don't think you're crazy to do so. Not at all. I think Noah Brown is a solid play, especially if, in fact, they continue to lean in on the idea of just passing the ball against the Tennessee Titans secondary, which, again, go back a couple weeks, Noah Brown was tearing apart that defense. I understand it was in the absence of guys like, Nico Collins and CJ Stroud, but still, I think there's a lot of potential there for him to have himself a solid week. So I wouldn't consider it to be a crazy play to pivot to Noah Brown in this circumstance. Thank you for the question, Ghosts. We had a question from CJ504, who says the following. Started Gibbs, Pollard, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, at least you got lucky at the end with Amon-Ra St. Brown scoring a touchdown. Otherwise, it was going to be a disaster. Gonna need upside. Flex Jaden Reed or Rashid Shaheed. I think I'd still play Jaden Reed there. I think he has just as much upside and even a safer floor in this circumstance. Thank you, CJ. Adam in the chat was saying, no, this wasn't Adam. This is Miguel in the chat saying, aren't you concerned about the rain on Seattle's game? Let's see. Look, here's the thing, right? I can look at the weather report that is currently being deemed. Looking at it right now, based on what my weather report looks like, says 6% chance of rain in Seattle. So unless that's different from, local weather reports, doesn't seem, let's see here. Seattle weather. Let's see here. What are we at tonight? Yeah, this says there's a pretty good chance of rain. Look, here's the thing, right? And I think we've combated this like almost all season long. Even though there's a potential for rain, I can't objectively say one way or the other 10 hours before the game takes place whether or not the rain is going to potentially affect it. I have no clue, right? So there's a reason why I still have Justin Fields and DJ Moore where they're currently ranked on screen, because I'm not 100% certain how the snow is going to look, right? They could say rain, but it could have potentially zero impact on the potential success or failures of our players. So, again, these weather reports, you have to take them with a grain of salt. You really do have to vet them and get an actual visual look at what the scenario looks like and see, is it, light rain, or are we talking about a couple weeks ago in Carolina where it was a complete rain bowl where, nobody could throw the ball effectively in that contest. So, again, for right now, let's take it easy with the overall weather conversation. But I understand the concern. Thank you. All right, we had a question from Jaden Fry, who sends in a question. Says, unfortunately, I started Pollard and Montgomery last night. I mean, at least Montgomery scored, right? At least he had that. Pollard couldn't even get himself in the end zone. Should I feel comfortable starting Achane and leaving Bijan on the bench? I'd feel comfortable doing so. I wouldn't mind it at all. With all things considered, I wouldn't mind it. Obviously, it's up to you. You're the final decision maker. If you prefer to play Bijan, fire him up. Thank you, Jaden. Ulysses sends in a question. Says 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 flex in a full PPR scoring format. We have Bijan, Zeke, Henry, Evans, Stephon, Rashi, Zay Flowers, and Ty Chandler. Okay, so of the available options that you have in a full PPR, I have Evans and Rashi Rice ranked the highest at wide receiver. The way that I probably go about this team, How do I want to do this? All right, Ulysses. So this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we go like Evans, Rashi at wide receiver, Bijan, Zeke at running back, and then it's just a matter of how do I want to do this in a full PPR? I think Zay Flowers has to play. So then it goes to, do I play Henry or Stephon Diggs? Between the two of them, I honestly trust Henry more. So I probably just play him in that second flex spot. So it would be Bijan, Zeke, Henry, Evans, Rashi, and Flowers. Thank you. James Brown sends in a question. Says Terry McLaurin or Rashid Shaheed for ceiling in a full PPR. I don't even know who's starting at quarterback for the Washington Commanders today. I think as we kind of progress, we'll get an idea. I think it's most likely going to be Sam Howell. So if I'm looking for ceiling of production, I'd just rather play Rashid Shaheed and hope for the deep ball potential play there. Especially considering Tampa Bay secondary has struggled as much as they have as of late. Now, you have to understand objectively that Rashid Shaheed is the sketchier player. He probably will get less targets, and he will probably more often than not burn you, as he has for many of us over the course of the season. But in terms of ceiling potential play, I do believe that, yeah, Rashid Shaheed does command that between the two of those options. Thank you. Somebody in the chat, Hayden Phoenix, says, is Addison out? From what I read earlier this morning in terms of the reports that came out, he is expected to play later tonight. Now, that being said, I don't have him ranked in my top 36 because you have a brand new quarterback. We have no idea whether or not Addison will be at a full capacity. A lot of variables there that I do not like. Let's see here. We had a question that came in from Adam Floyd. Thank you, Adam. Adam says, in a full PPR, who do I start at quarterback? Stroud or Mayfield? I mean, I like them both a lot. Obviously, as you can tell from the rankings that are currently on screen, we have CJ Stroud as my number 6, Baker Mayfield as my number 8. Both of them are in great matchups. Both of them are pass-heavy quarterbacks. And both will probably go for like 240, 250 passing yards, maybe more if we get lucky. 2-3 passing touchdowns. I think that's the idea as to what I'm expecting between the two. Obviously, both of them have the ability to run the ball a little bit, have themselves rushing touchdown upside. So I think they're both great plays. I personally like Stroud in this circumstance. As for your follow-up question there, Adam, flex option, do I start Noah Brown or Jaylen Warren? In a full PPR, I think I'd be very comfortable rolling with the idea of Noah Brown in that circumstance. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it. And at that point, you'll be just stacking the two. All right, let's see here. We had another question that came in from Jaden Fry. Let me see where Jaden's question went. I don't know why it updated and knocked it all the way down there. Jaden Fry says Raiders, Texans, Falcons, or Rams defense. Okay, again, reminder, guys. For those of you who are just joining us this morning, as you guys can see to the right side of the screen, we have updated rankings in regards to the 4 primary positions. If you guys are also looking for kicker and defense rankings, be sure to help us get to 200 likes on today's live stream. I'm going to personally go and like my own live stream. Where am I? I'm 189. If we can get to 250, I'd be more than happy to share with you guys my top 12 kickers and defenses. As for your question, Jaden, Raiders, Texans, Falcons, and Rams. Let me see who I ranked highest. Raiders, Texans, Falcons, Rams. So I currently have it as Texans, Raiders, Rams, Falcons. Texans, Raiders, Rams, Falcons. That's the order in which I have it. I have the Texans and the Raiders in the same exact tier. Even though they are back-to-back in terms of rankings, they're the same tier. Then the Rams are in the next tier. Falcons are in the last tier overall. Thank you. Moving on, we had a question from Vowed on Film. Thank you again for the very generous super chat yesterday, Vowed. Appreciate it. Says, I'm back again, Andrew. Feeling stuck on Baker or Mahomes? Help justify it. Also, kicker, Butler or McLaughlin? I think you meant Butker, as in like Harrison Butker. So between the two, honestly, if it's me, I'm starting both of those Tampa Bay Buccaneers, primarily because I when I look at the matchup as a whole, and I look at how well the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been playing as of late, I do not see a reality in which the New Orleans Saints defense could legitimately slow down Baker Mayfield in this offense. They've been, they've been putting up 28 points per game as a team each of the last 3 games. McLaughlin's been double-digit points in all 3 of those, circumstances. Mahomes, on the other hand, is on a little bit of a drought as of late, as I'm sure many of us have witnessed. While Baker, Mayfield is on the complete opposite end. I mean, last week he had 3 passing touchdowns. Was it 3 passing? Actually, am I just misremembering? I'm fairly certain it was either last week or the week before against Green Bay, in which he just torched them. Yeah, it was against Green Bay where he had 4 passing touchdowns. Last week was 283 and 2. He's just a safe play. I'm just looking at his numbers overall. He just seemed like he's had himself, let's see here, 2 touchdowns last week, 4 the week before, 3 the week before that. Then he had 1, 2 again, 2 again, 2 again, 2 again. Like he is pretty much a 2 touchdown, 200-yard kind of guy. And if he finds the upside, especially considering the advantageous matchup and the ability to win the division today, I feel like he's just a safer spot than where Mahomes presents as of right now. Thank you. Zach Z says full PPR. Jalen Hurts, Christian McCaffrey, Travis Etienne, Amon-Ra, Diggs, McBride, Barkley. Okay, Hurts, McCaffrey, Etienne, Amon-Ra, Diggs, McBride, Barkley. Okay, cool. Reed, Higgins, Zamir, Singletary on my bench. Usually don't bench my studs, but debating. Thoughts? I mean, in this circumstance, who's the stud that you're benching? I don't think you are benching your stud. Okay, I think that's what you meant. You're considering benching like Diggs and Barkley potentially for the alternative. In a full PPR, I'm comfortable playing Barkley ahead of Zamir White. In a full PPR, if it was my team, I would play Diggs ahead of Reed. So I wouldn't make any changes in this circumstance. Zach, you're good to go. Thank you. Appreciate it. Frosty sends in a question. Says, pick 2 running backs in a full PPR. Zeke, White, Chandler, and Jones. Thank you. Between those 4 options in a full PPR scoring format, I would play Zamir White and Ezekiel Elliott. Thank you. Garrett Neese says, Fairbairn or Jason Myers? Fairbairn. I'll take that out of the bunch. Thank you. Dan Young says, in a full PPR, who would you flex? Aaron Jones or Jaden Reed? In a full PPR, I would flex Jaden Reed there. Thank you. Chris T sends in a question. Chris says, bench 1 in a full PPR. Saquon, Zamir, Achane, or Henry? In a full PPR, I have Derrick Henry ranked the lowest. So I have Zamir, Saquon, and Achane all ahead of him in a full PPR scoring format. Thank you. All right, we had a question that came in from G Hefe again, who says, I mean, DJ Moore, autocorrect. Achane or Moore. Yeah, I mean, I knew that Ish Moore was either going to be Ish Smith, which I was like, nah, I'm pretty sure he would have been Smith after. But he ended up putting Moore. So I assumed that it was going to be DJ Moore. I would still play Devon Achane ahead of him today. Thank you. Let's hear. Dub Breaker says, everyone else is saying this, but Zeke or Achane. Everybody else is saying this. As in, like, in the chat, potentially? Zeke or Achane? Yeah, I like Achane this week. Look, if you're playing in a full PPR, I could fully justify the idea of playing Zeke ahead of Devon Achane. But I think Devon Achane has himself as much... I mean, I would say that he has a discount version in terms of the potential in the receiving game, especially considering, of course, what we've seen last week. 11 targets for Zeke, which is a crazy number, but nonetheless continues to exist. Between the two of them, like, at least I know between the two, like, even if they get very similar rushing total attempts, Zeke's going to get himself like 2-3 yards per carry on average. There's always the chance with all this, misdirection of this offense that Achane could break one tackle and literally go 70 yards and a touchdown. That's what has always been the selling point on him every single week, because we've seen it actually take place. Now, if it wasn't as common as we've seen it, then we'd be, less inclined to, potentially go down that road. But considering the volume of opportunity he'll get today in comparison to weeks past, and the fact that, he has just as much capability in the receiving game, I'm comfortable playing him over Zeke. Thanks for your question, Dub. Charles T says, I played Breece Hall already. Okay, cool. I have ETN, Pacheco, Swift, and Achane. I need to start 3 of the 4 in a half PPR. Thanks. Okay, cool. So of the available that you have, I mean, if you need 3 of the 4, the 3 highest that I have ranked on screen like we do in half PPR would be Swift, ETN, and Pacheco. The lowest ranked is Achane out of the bunch in a half PPR scoring format. So I would play Pacheco, Swift, and ETN there, Charles. Thank you. Again, they're all very closely ranked to the point to where I'd be okay swapping one for the other if you have a gut feeling about it. But as of right now, Charles, those are the 3 that I would suggest. Thank you, Charles. Appreciate it. Trandon Cole says, just want to say Happy New Year, and CeeDee Lamb is the GOAT. Yeah, CeeDee Lamb, dude. What a crazy game, huh? As soon as he scored that 92-yard receiving touchdown on the broken play, I mean, one of my leagues, I was already gone. Like, I was like, all right, this one's over now. It is tough, dude. He is unstoppable. I mean, he's just been so good for fantasy. And obviously, there's a reason why there are so many teams that are suffering or either, having themselves a very good Sunday morning thus far because of his efforts last night. All right, we had a question that came in from JJ913 who says, I had Pollard and Amon-Ra St. Brown last night. I need a defense, kicker, quarterback, and flex. I do see that we did surpass 250 likes. Greatly appreciate it. Let me go ahead and share with you guys kicker and defense rankings. Thank you very much. All right, so you need a kicker, defense, quarterback, and flex. Playing Bijan, Puka, McBride. Okay. Flex options currently are Ridley, Chandler, Ingram. Okay, cool. Bears defense, Las Vegas, Minnesota, Seattle. Kickers are Tampa Bay's, Houston, Cincinnati's, Rams, Seattle, and quarterbacks are okay. So let's answer some of these questions, Jay. At quarterback, I would play Kyler Murray. In regards to your flex, if it's a full, what kind of scoring format are you? If it's a full PPR, I play Evan Ingram there. If it's not, if it's a half PPR, I play Ty Chandler. So that would be your flex. That's your quarterback. Kicker, I play Tampa Bay's out of all of them. Actually, I would play probably, it's either Tampa Bay's or LA Rams kicker, whichever one's available for you. But if the Tampa Bay kicker, Chase McLaughlin, is available, I would pick him up and play him. And then as for defense today, Bears, Las Vegas, Minnesota. I do have the Bears ranked the highest of all those. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Moving on from Jay's question, we have Happy, who says, in a full PPR, start two. Achane, Cook, Connor, Zamir White. Currently in a full PPR, I would have Cook and Achane as the two highest ranked of the bunch. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Little Boy Blue sent in a question. Let me see if I can find Little Boy Blue's question. Says full PPR, Isaiah Likely, Demarcus Robinson in the flex. I have McBride as my tight end already. Okay. Let me see who I have ranked higher. Isaiah Likely or Demarcus Robinson. Currently, where I have Isaiah Likely ranked higher as of right now. Thank you very much, Little Boy Blue. Appreciate it. All right, moving on to Rick B's question, who says, in a half PPR, pick two. We have Gus the Bus Edwards, Brian Robinson Jr., or Demarcus Robinson. If I'm picking two of the three, I probably end up playing Gus the Bus Edwards and Demarcus Robinson there in a half PPR. I don't know if I can trust Brian Robinson Jr., especially in a negative game script against San Francisco. If Jacoby Brissett was playing, I feel a little bit more confident, but as of right now, I'd probably go Gus the Bus and Demarcus there. Thank you. All right, after Rick B's question, we have So Ziggy, who says, full PPR, two flex options. Okay, so what do we have here? Jordan Addison, Tyjae Spears, Rashid Shaheed, Demarcus Robinson, KJ Osborne. Okay. So of those available options, if we need two flex out of the bunch, the two highest ranked players that I would have in a full PPR in this circumstance are probably Demarcus Robinson 1 and Rashid Shaheed 2. I'd consider Tyjae Spears to be that number 2, but in a full PPR, I'd probably lean towards Shaheed. So Robinson, Shaheed are my suggestions there, Ziggy. I don't feel explicitly confident going with Addison or Osborne in this circumstance, mainly because of the quarterback shift. If we had another week of Nick Mullins, I would have probably suggested Addison alongside of Demarcus Robinson. Thank you. King Nav says full PPR, Chase or Noah Brown in the flex. In this circumstance, I'm playing my stud. I'm playing Jamar Chase. He is said to play today. Obviously was limited at practice over the course of this week. But considering he is who he is, and we know that Jake Browning can absolutely deliver in these circumstances, I'm very comfortable playing Jamar Chase there. As for your follow-up question, Bears or Broncos defense, currently have the Bears ranked higher. I go back to So Ziggy's question because I know he had a follow-up. He said Broncos or Rams. Currently on screen, I have the Rams ahead of the Broncos just by one spot, but enough to where I do feel confident in that regard. Thank you. Bugsy19 says, or Bugs19 says, 2 championships today, full PPR. Okay. Half a point tight end bonus. Okay, so you're playing in a tight end premium. Got it. Thielen or Goddard? I'd play Goddard there, especially considering Goddard's coming off of back-to-back weeks of 9 targets. I feel very confident going in that direction. In a full PPR, I even have Goddard ranked higher than where I typically do in a half PPR. Like Goddard sits at 6 in a half PPR. If I'm not mistaken, he's number 5 in a full. He jumps over Isaiah Likely in that circumstance. Moving on to your second question here. Gainwell, Gibson, Dillon, or Hill. Gainwell, Gibson, Dillon, or Hill. As of right now, I'm fairly certain I have Gainwell ranked the highest of the bunch. Yeah, as of right now, that's currently where it sits. But in a full PPR scoring format, let me see if that changes. We go to full PPR. We have in a full PPR, I have Gibson 1, Justice Hill 2, Kenneth Gainwell 3, and AJ Dillon 4. So Gibson would be number 1, Justice Hill 2. That would be the play there. Bugs. And then thoughts on Wilson role in a PPR with Moss/Wad out. I think you mean like Mostert and Waddle out, and you're asking me about Cedric Wilson's role. I mean, look, here's the thing. I don't feel explicitly confident on the idea that the Miami Dolphins offense is going to be lighting it up through the air. I'm sure they'll be able to, efficiently move the ball, but I don't feel like in the absence of Waddle and Mostert, someone else that isn't already one of their main contributors like Tyreek Hill or Devon Achane, I don't feel like anybody outside of that, unless it's just a random like River Craycraft touchdown or I don't know what kind of other Braxton Berrios touchdown, Chase Claypool, unless it's one of those random touchdowns, I don't know if I can trust any of the alternative options in that offense. Thank you, Bugs. Chase McGraw sends in a question. All right, Chase, what do we got here? Where art thou question? Okay, so Chase says the following. Played against Lamb and Njoku, so I'm down big. Start 5 out of the following. Saquon, Bijan, Zamir, Jaden Reed, Devontae Smith, and T. Higgins in a full PPR. If I'm starting 5 of these players, I'm probably starting everyone except for T. Higgins. I'd probably play Saquon, Bijan, Zamir, Reed, and Smith, and I'd probably bench T. Higgins. If Jamar Chase was not active, it would be different, but currently he's active and ready to go. So I'd look in the in the alternative directions. Thank you, appreciate it. John Vitale says full PPR: JSN, Demarcus Robinson, Thielen. In a full PPR, if I'm not mistaken, I think is it JSN? Let me check. Where art thou, JSN? JSN is there. Yeah. In a full PPR, JSN's the highest ranked amongst Demarcus Robinson and Adam Thielen. So I play JSN there. Thank you, John. Okay. We had a question from James Johnson. Thank you, James. It says, I need ceiling between Higbee, Otten, Jonnu Smith, and Freiermuth. The highest ceiling amongst this group, let me check this real quick. Where is, okay, let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go here. Out of the bunch, yeah, I don't love the. Okay, so the biggest upside, assuming the weather's okay, technically is Jonnu Smith. If the weather is not up to par, I think the next best play is Cade Otton there, James Johnson, in terms of upside ceiling. So it would go Jonnu 1 and Cade Otton 2. If Jonnu's weather in Chicago is a disaster, you just pivot to playing Cade Otton. Thank you. Ulysses sends in a follow-up question, says in a full PPR flex, Derrick Henry or Stephon Diggs. Yeah, let me see who I've ranked higher in my full PPR. Let's see here. I think I have probably Diggs ranked higher, if I had to guess. Okay, there's that. Yeah, I have Diggs I got Diggs pretty highly ranked in comparison. That's the thing, though. Like, do I trust playing Stephon Diggs after what he's demonstrated over the course of the last month in comparison to Derrick Henry in my championship game? Like, there is projection models that I have, but then there are just, like, gut feelings that I'm just like, do I really want to trust Stephon Diggs? Technically, in a full PPR, yes. I have him significantly higher ranked than Derrick Henry. So if that's what you want to roll with, go for it. But, I mean, Derrick Henry, man, it's tough to sit him, especially considering 2 touchdowns in 4 of the last 5 games, while Stephon Diggs maybe has, 1 touchdown in the last 5 games? Pretty tough. Stephen Bowman sends in a question, says, hey, Andrew, glad you're feeling better. Gibbs and Garrett Wilson hurt. Gibbs and Garrett Wilson hurt. Help, yeah, as in like it hurt your team overall. Help with 2 wide receivers, 2 flex. My options are Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, Jerry Jeudy, Drake London, Alvin Kamara, Kenneth Walker III, Ty Chandler, and Aaron Jones. Note, it's point per carry league. Got it. Okay, so you need 2 wide receivers and 2 flex. Obviously, you're playing Tyreek Hill, and I think the next best option after that is definitely Devontae Adams. I understand he's coming off a 1 reception week, I think he'll be fine in terms of a bounce back performance here against the Indianapolis Colts. So I'm comfortable playing both Adams and Tyreek Hill. As for your flex, considering it's a point per carry league, I think Kenneth Walker and Alvin Kamara are the two plays there. Yeah, those are the two that I would play if it's my team. Thank you. Appreciate it. Point per carry, that's kind of crazy. I might even consider playing, if it's a full PPR, I'm comfortable playing Kamara there. If it's not a full PPR, I'd be just as comfortable playing Chandler alongside of Kenneth Walker, just off the point per carry basis. Now, I don't know if it's a full point per carry, but even if it's like 0.25 per carry, like that's enough to convince me in terms of playing Chandler in comparison to Kamara, if it's not a full PPR. Thank you. All right, National Champ Rush sends in a question, says, what defense should I start? Tampa, Indy, Las Vegas, or Miami? I'm not playing Miami's defense, but they've been solid. Vic Fangio has definitely helped them out all season long. But in regards to Tampa, Indy, and Las Vegas, I have Las Vegas ranked at 7. Tampa is at 13, and Indianapolis is at 14. So I have the Vegas Raiders pretty high in comparison to those two other options. But I do have Tampa and Indy ranked in my Patreon / Underdog ranking. So for right now, I would take Las Vegas, but Tampa and Indy are back-to-back after. Thank you. Let's hear. We had a question from Caribbean Cool, who says, I'm a little worried about Pacheco. I have Pacheco, Kamara, and Zamir White. Is it possible the Chiefs hold Pacheco back a little bit? I don't see why they would. It's not like he's dealing with like a knee injury or something of that extent, or a quad or hamstring. It's concussion protocol, right? And he was able to go through the entire process and clear the concussion protocol. So I wouldn't lean towards the idea that they're going to hold him back in terms of his overall usage, because, if you're gonna play football, if they're worried about a concussion reoccurring, then they're in the wrong, business of worrying about it. Like, a concussion could happen on any given play. So I don't think this is a matter of them holding back Isaiah Pacheco, especially with Clyde Edwards-Helaire being sick all week long and, Jerick McKinnon being on the injured reserve. I think this is a matter of just Pacheco having himself another one of these classic games in which he probably has 70, 80 rushing yards, probably a rushing touchdown, probably gets all the receiving utilization and has himself a solid performance. So if it's me, I'm firing him up. You have great alternative options in Kamara and Zamir. So if you want to pivot away, you can. But if it was me, I would suggest playing Pacheco. Thank you. GK says PPR, likely Everett. Likely versus Everett. Yeah, I'll take likely over Everett in a full PPR. As for your follow-up question, CJ or Baker, I'll take CJ. Thank you, GK. Appreciate it. Moving on to Nick City, who says, full PPR, Ravens or Jaguars? I have Jaguars ranked higher in terms of defense. Moving on. Also, Juwan Johnson over Logan Thomas? Yes, I would rather play Juwan Johnson over Logan Thomas. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right, we move on to a question that came in from Revan OC, who says full PPR, Connor, Singletary, Mixon. Reason Connor is high for you, question mark? The primary reason is that the Philadelphia Eagles, as of late, have struggled mightily against opposing running backs. And on top of it, from what we have seen, a guy like James Conner contribute for fantasy purposes, he's kind of been, one of my favorite plays that have kind of sneakily just been great as of late. We would have thought, based on the overall matchups that he had faced as of late, his late season schedule was not going to look great, but the last 3 games, 19.7, 16.4, 22.5 half PPR fantasy points. He takes on the Eagles, who most recently in the last 4 games, I'm just regurgitating Wednesday's video. Saquon with 18 fantasy points, Kenneth Walker with 18.7, Dallas's backfield of Rico Dowdle and Pollard combined for 24.8, and McCaffrey went for 20.8. Running backs have found a lot of success against the defense as of late, and Connor himself, regardless of matchup, has found himself a lot of success for fantasy purposes. So I like him in comparison to those alternative options of Singletary and Mixon today there, Revan. Thank you. As for your follow-up question, Superflex needs ceiling between Amon-Ra, Nico, Ingram, Lamar, Love. Yeah, I'm still going to fire up Connor there if we're looking for ceiling. Thank you, Revan. Chris B. the RD, who says, full PPR, bench 1, Achane, Devontae Smith, Olave, Kamara. If it's my team, I end up benching Devontae Smith. I start Achane, I start Olave, I start Kamara, primarily because of Devontae Smith's lack of overall target opportunity. Only 10 targets in the last 2 weeks isn't going to cut it for me. Even though last week he was able to find himself in the end zone. Again, with lesser opportunity, you only have a handful of chances to potentially score a touchdown in comparison to these other guys who have themselves just as much target opportunity and just as much potential for upside, especially in a full PPR. So yeah, I'd bench Devontae Smith there, Chris. Thank you. Carlos Laurie says, Happy New Year's. Any updates on Jamar Chase? Yeah, first and foremost, Happy New Year's to all of you. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. In regards to Jamar Chase, from what I read earlier today, I think it was either Pelissaro or it was either, what's his name? Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network. They had said that he's ready to go. He's going to play today. So that's the primary reason why I have him ranked on screen over there at number 15. You got to start your studs. And he obviously had limited practices over the course of the entire week, so he should be ready to go. Thank you. Somebody in the chat, I think Sven Dragon said no Santos. Yeah, the only reason I don't have Cairo Santos on screen in terms of the kicker rankings is because I'm not 100% certain what that weather looks like. We'll kind of keep that monitored as we get closer to kickoff. In about probably an hour. Yeah, probably an hour or two. We'll keep an eye on that, and we'll see what it looks like and whether it's even playable for a kicker in that circumstance, how the weather and the snow looks. All right, thank you again, Carlos. Moving on to a question from Drake S., who says, in a full PPR, Zamir White or Bijan Robinson? Just seeing it snowing in Chicago, so I'm skeptical about playing Bijan. I mean, first and foremost, I wouldn't say even if it wasn't even if it wasn't snowing, I wouldn't play Bijan over Zamir White this week. That's how confident I am with Zamir White against Indianapolis, who has been a terrible run stop defense this season in comparison to Chicago's defense, who's been unstoppable in terms of being able to beat up on running backs. So for right now, full PPR, I'm comfortable playing Zamir White there. Drake, thank you. Let's see here. Jeremy Morrow sends in a question. Says, I already played Breece Hall and Joe Flacco. Okay, great. I have Mostert. He's out. I got Achane and Bijan. Should I play White in full PPR? Okay, there's a lot of context here. Already played Breece Hall and Joe Flacco, so that's irrelevant to me. Mostert is out. I have Achane and Bijan. Okay, cool. So you have Achane and Bijan. And then your follow-up question is, should I play White in a full PPR? First of all, which White is that? Is it Rashad White? Is it Zamir White? What's the deal there? You know what I mean? Now, in terms of context, for example, on screen right now, I have Zamir White and Rashad White, both ranked higher than Devon Achane and a half PPR. So I would play them both over Devon Achane and a half PPR, if in fact that is your current circumstance and that's what you're talking about. If it's not, then we would go elsewhere. Now, in a full PPR, in terms of Zamir White, Achane, I would play Achane in a full PPR ahead of Zamir White, but I would not play him over Rashad White, okay? Hopefully that gives you a little bit of context, but that's where I'm going. Thank you, Jeremy. We had a question from Luis Alcantar, who says, so it's going to be snow and Mooney is out and Kmet is a game time decision. It's a 2 points for 40-yard passing, 2 points for 40 yards. That's way too, okay. And 2 points for 40-yard passing touchdown, okay. Still Fields over Carr. 2 points per 40 yards passing. Let me see here. Let me do some math. Let's say actually, yeah. Okay. Damn, that's a lot of points for yardage. I mean, it's not a huge volume, but it is enough to where in about an hour or two, an hour and a half maybe, Luis, as soon as I get a visual representation of what that snow looks like and how heavy it is. Like if we're talking about, one of those old Philadelphia games where LaShawn McCoy's snapping ankles in snow that's stacked up 3 feet high. If we're talking about one of those kind of games, then sure, we can pivot. But if it's not, then, let's see here. Falcons at Bears. Let me see if I can find any representation right now. I'm looking at it right now. It's going to be moving. That weather is 11 minutes ago? Yeah, okay. In your circumstance, considering your scoring format, I'm perfectly fine pivoting to Carr. I will reserve the right to potentially pivot back depending on how the weather looks in an hour and a half, but for right now, I'm comfortable pivoting. Thank you. Shane sends in a question. Says PPR, 2 running backs, 1 flex. Kamara, Walker, Henry, White, Adams. Okay. Of those available options, let me check who I have ranked the highest in a full PPR. So, where is Adams in comparison to the bunch there? Okay, Adams is there. Kamara is there. Walker's there. Okay. So, you need 2 running backs and a flex. The 2 running backs that I would play are White and Kamara. And the flex that I would play is Kenneth Walker. That's why well, actually, no, it's a full PPR. So I go with Adams in the flex. So it would go Kamara, White, and Adams there, Shane. Thank you. Moving on to Anip Patel, who says, likely or Goddard, Diggs or Singletary, half PPR. In a half PPR, I have likely ahead of Goddard, as you can see on screen. And Diggs and Singletary in a half PPR? That's a good question. Let's check. Full PPR, half PPR. Singletary is there. And I have Diggs. Where's Diggs? I have Diggs ahead of him in my rankings. Correct. So I would play him ahead of Singletary. Thank you. Hash sends in a question, says, who do I flex? Zeke, Derrick Henry, or DK Metcalf in a full PPR? Probably Zeke, honestly. DK Metcalf is expected to play. Don't know what the weather looks like in that circumstance, though. Derrick Henry, I'd love to play him, but in a full PPR, it's really difficult not to play Zeke. I mean, if Zeke doesn't score a touchdown, it's going to hurt a little bit, but I think he's still in a full PPR over 12 fantasy points this week. I think it's kind of a given in terms of his overall potential for play. So if we think that, I mean, it's always possible that DK Metcalf, 6 catches, 60 yards, is all he needs. But I think Zeke is always in line for, I mean, more often than not this season already, in the absence of Ramondre Stevenson, he has scored a touchdown. So I'm comfortable going in that direction as it currently stands. Thank you. But if it was me, yeah, I'd probably go Zeke, DK, then Derrick Henry in that order in a full PPR. Cooper sends in a question. Where is Cooper's question? Cooper. All right, Cooper has sent in a follow-up just because the first one didn't get attached. Got it. Okay. So Cooper's follow-up question is the following. Let's see. Cooper's follow-up was 2 championships, full PPR, 1 league, Evan Ingram, Kenneth Walker, Zay Flowers. Okay. In the flex. Okay, so let's see who I ranked highest in a full PPR. I'm fairly certain I have Evan Ingram ranked pretty damn high in a full PPR. Let me check. Where's Zay Flowers in comparison? Boom, boom. Where the heck is Flowers? Never mind. So in a full PPR, I have Zay Flowers ranked the highest out of the 3. The second highest would be Evan Ingram. Then it would be Kenneth Walker. That's the order. Flowers, Ingram, Walker. As for your second league, pick 2 between Zeke, Zamir White, and Zay Flowers. If this is also a full PPR, in this circumstance, where do we have Zeke in comparison to Flowers? Flowers is there, and Ezekiel's lower. So it would be Zamir White and Flowers as well in the second league. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, after Cooper's question, we had a question that was sent in from Devils Mets fan. Says, standard league, DeMarcus Robinson or Calvin Ridley? Standard league, 0 points per reception. I played DeMarcus Robinson, hope for the touchdown. Terry R says, why Chicago over Houston? Mainly because that weather is looking the way it is. If you guys go to Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and you just go and type in Falcons at Bears in the search bar, right? A little drop down shows up that's like a pre-existing like tab. If you click into it and then you go over to like the latest videos that have been posted in regards to people in the stadium, it looks like it's going to be a pretty interesting snow game. I think the wind is mostly going to be the biggest factor. I don't know if the snow itself is going to be a factor, but the wind is in that conversation. If the Chicago Bears, who are a great run stop defense, are not going to be threatened by the passing game of the Atlanta Falcons, it leans to a lot of potential for success there in regards to Chicago's defense. So that's why I have them higher, Terry. Also, full pick 1 through K9 Adams. I don't even know what that means. 1 through K9 Adams, Zeke, Higgins. Oh, sorry. It says full pick 1. and then it's those options. Got it. Understood. Apologies for the confusion there, Terry R. In regards to those available options, I do have Zeke ranked as the highest. Thank you very much, Terry. Appreciate it. Emily Doyle sends in a question. Says, can you explain the reasoning for Tucker over Elliott in terms of kickers? I mean, yeah, that's the issue with kicker potential. The issue with kicker potential is 100% based on who has a lesser likelihood to score that full touchdown and who has the likelihood that they're probably just going to, kick it between the uprights. Like, I look at the matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Arizona Cardinals, and I do expect the Eagles to score a lot, and I don't expect there to be a lot of resistance in doing so. So I'm thinking, okay, are there going to be chances for Jake Elliott to score 40, 50-yard field goals? Sure, but in comparison to Tucker, who plays against a significantly better defense with Miami, I think he'll have more opportunities and will be in more circumstances in which they'll have to kick field goals in comparison to the Eagles, who are probably just going to plow through that defense of Arizona. Thank you, Emily. Cooper, we took care of that. T Sanity says, Pacheco or Achane in a full PPR? I'd probably still play Pacheco there. Thank you. Okay, we have Obed the Rager says, or Abed the Rager says, need 3 full PPR. JT, Bijan, Kenneth Walker, Zeke, Elliott. Need 3 in a full PPR. JT, Bijan, Zeke. Thank you, Obed the Rager. Antonio Garcia says, Broncos, Rams, or Chiefs? Currently, I have the Chiefs as my number 5, the Broncos as my number 9, and the Rams as my number 8. So the Chiefs would be the highest ranked defense of the bunch as of right now. Thank you. Riley sends in a question, says, just wanted to say thanks. Fun question to end the year. Pick top 24. What does it say? Pick your 24 top 5 wide receiver. What the heck does that mean? 2024 top 5 wide receivers. I understand now. 2024 top 5 wide receivers. I mean, do you want me to get spicy with it? Because I think it's pretty easy to assume Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb as 2 of the top 3, or sorry, 3 of the top 5. Outside of that, I mean, AJ Brown's probably in that conversation as well for next season. And then number 5, who are we throwing into it? Probably Amon-Ra, Tyreek Hill. My goodness, there's a lot of guys. I'd probably say let's just wait and see where Marvin Harrison Jr. goes. Okay, and then we'll talk about top 5 for next year. That's where I get spicy. Let's see where he lands. Bossa B sends in a question. Thank you again, Riley. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Bossa B says standard Stroud, Stafford. Okay, so this is what I'll forfeit in regards to Stafford versus Stroud right here. Right, I have Stroud ahead of him. The only thing I would potentially consider is, yes, because Stafford has been on fire as of late and has been active in comparison to the inactive nature of CJ Stroud, who's been in the concussion protocol, I would say, sure, if you want to play Stafford ahead of Stroud because of that, because of the overall circumstance, let's go for it, no problem. Otherwise, I do think that Stroud has more potential for upside because it probably is a more competitive matchup and more of a back and forth in that circumstance. As for your follow-up question, Bears or Raiders, I like them both. I just prefer the Bears because I really don't trust the Atlanta Falcons offense as a whole. Thank you. Let's see here. We had a question that came from Danny D. Thank you, Danny. It says, full PPR, who do I start? I need a flex as well. Evans, Olave, Rice, Barkley, Kamara, Achane, White. Okay, so if we're starting 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, in a flex, out of those available options there, Danny, in a full PPR scoring format, I would probably go with something of the nature of like, I'd probably end up playing Achane and Zamir White, unironically, and I'd probably end up, oh man, I don't think you even want to hear my answer. If it's my team, I probably go with something like White, Achane, Evans, Olave, and Rice. That's what I'm thinking in a full PPR. Also, follow up there, Danny. Need a defense. Raiders, Broncos, Eagles, and Bears. Currently have the Bears ranked higher than everyone, but otherwise the Raiders are the second best. Broncos third, Eagles fourth. Thank you again, Danny. Appreciate it. All right. No Brian 3993 says, looking for the most upside. 3 out of the potential 5. Pacheco, White, Bijan, Eckler, Zeke. Okay. Also, McBride or Kittle for upside. Depends on scoring format on all of this. Played against CeeDee Lamb last night. I think it depends on... Okay, so considering you don't have your scoring format included in the question, let's assume it's a half PPR. If we're looking for the highest potential for upside, in terms of 3 of the 5 running backs, I play Pacheco, I play Zamir White, and I probably, if we're looking for upside, I probably also play Ezekiel. I mean, I'll probably play Eckler there. Pacheco, Zamir White, Eckler. Those are the 3 that I would play in a half PPR. If we're looking for just pure upside. And then as for McBride and Kittle, currently Kittle higher in a half PPR, McBride higher in a full PPR. So hopefully that gets that on, what does it say? Somebody just sent me a question. Okay. What does this say? It says Dobbs or Tyrod Taylor. Yeah, I'd rather play Taylor in a super flex. Okay. Moving on to question from Strong Island. Sorry, Strong Island. Island. Strong Island's Finest 23 says, wide receiver 4, half PPR, Pickens, Demarcus Robinson, or Greg Dortch. Currently in a half PPR, if I'm not mistaken. What do I have? George Pickens is at 26, Demarcus Robinson's at 31, Greg Dortch is off the list. So it would be Pickens number 1, Demarcus 2, Dortch 3 in my humble opinion. I don't love the idea that I'm ranking George Pickens where I have him because he's just a 1-week wonder in comparison to Marcus Robinson, who's been consistent for 4 straight weeks. So, I mean, as much as Pickens has potential for extreme upside, and maybe him and Mason Rudolph can recreate what they did last week once again, I would say Demarcus Robinson is probably the safest play of the bunch. Philip Villanueva says, full PPR pick 1. Elliott, Henry, Aaron Jones. Full PPR, I have Elliott ranked highest. Thank you. Samuel Johnson says, Nico Collins or Javonte Williams in the flex position. I'd rather play Nico Collins. Regardless of scoring format, I'd probably go with Nico Collins. Thank you. Whether it's half full PPR. Cameron Kaplan says, full PPR, flex, Bijan or Nico Collins. I'd rather have Nico Collins playing there. Second flex, Ty Chandler or Jaden Reed. I'd rather have Jaden Reed there as well. So I'd go with both those wide receivers there, Cameron. Thank you. Markel Adams says full PPR, stuck between ETN, Zamir White, and Pacheco. In a full PPR, does my rankings change at all? Let's check. ETN is there. Pacheco is there. Zamir White's there. Yeah, I still have ETN ahead of Pacheco, and then both of them ahead of Zamir White in a full PPR. So ETN and Pacheco would be the 2 plays there of the 3. Markel, thank you. Jesse sends in a question. Thank you, Jesse. Says full PPR, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. All right. And 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex, 1 tight end. We have Zamir Achane. Okay. Ayuk, Zay. I'm pretty sure Zay Jones is not playing today. Anyway, Demarcus Robinson, Schultz, Waller, CeeDee Lamb, and Tyreek Hill. So I'm cooked. I think you said you probably were referring to your playing against hopefully Christian McCaffrey and Jalen go off. Okay, so of the available options, Zamir White and Achane. In a full PPR, I have Achane ranked higher. So I'd go with Achane as your RB1. As for the 2 wide receivers that I would suggest you play, it's probably Zay Flowers and not Zay Jones. My apologies, Jesse. I play Ayuk and Zay Flowers. In your flex, I play Zamir White. And then I'm in a full PPR. Where do I have Schultz and Waller? I have Schultz ahead of Waller, 1 spot, but they're the same tier. And then that's it. So again, it's Achane, Ayuk, Zay Flowers, Zamir White in the flex, and Schultz at tight end. Thank you, Jesse. Momo says PPR, Ayuk or Kamara. I'd rather play Ayuk this week. Thank you. James Green sends in a question. James, where is your question, though? Achane or Puka in the flex? Ooh, baby. Let me check where I have them ranked in both half and full PPR so I can give you a reference. So currently, Puka is there, and he's ahead of Achane in a half PPR and full PPR. So I go with Puka in both circumstances, half or full. Thank you. Sam Howell is starting today. Okay, understood. Taylor or Jaron Hall? Who do I have ranked higher? I'm fairly certain I have Jaron Hall ranked higher. Hall is one spot higher than Taylor. All right, moving on. We had a question that came in from, okay, so we're looking for James Green, right? So we took care, okay, yeah, we took care of that. We'll take Puka Nacua this week ahead of Achan. Thank you. Rob G sends in a question. Says full PPR. Pick one in the flex. McLaurin, Dobbs, or Gus Edwards. Do I trust it? Between the three, I'd probably play Romeo Dobbs there. Do I in a full PPR with receptions counting for that much more? Yeah, in a full PPR, I'd probably just play Romeo Dobbs there. Now that we know for a fact that Sam Howell's playing quarterback, I'd probably just play Romeo Dobbs out of the group. I go Dobbs number 1, Gus Edwards number 2, McLaurin number 3. Rob, thank you, appreciate it. We had a question from Romaz who says, "Happy New Year, thank you, appreciate it." Pick one: Zamir White, Davis, Eckler, Collins. Depends on scoring format, honestly. If we're talking about, let me see here. If we're talking about like a half PPR, I'd probably end up playing Zamir White there. But in a full PPR, let me see where I have Collins in comparison. Collins is there, and I have him. Where's White? I have him ahead of Zamir White. So if we're in a circumstance here, Romaz, where you're playing in a full PPR, I would play Nico Collins. If you're playing in a half PPR, I would play Zamir White. If you're playing in a standard, I'd play Zamir White. As for your follow-up question, also, I'm starting Tyrod Taylor in my Superflex. Should I start one of those players in his place as well? No, Okay, let me look into Tyrod Taylor real quick. I don't think Tyrod's a bad play today. I just don't know if I don't know if he's that good of a play to play him over. Let me see here, Tyrod, or as he likes it to be called, Tyrod. As of right now, against the Rams, I probably end up playing Zamir White and Nico Collins. I probably play one of them in the Superflex over Tyrod Taylor. Thank you, Romas. David Fennel sends in a question. Says PPR flex. Warren, Reed, Hubbard. I play Reed out over all three of them. Thank you. Drake S says Jamar Chase or Zamir White in the flex full PPR. That is a great question. Full PPR. I have Jamar Chase ahead of Zamir White. Thank you. Jerry Mendoza says full PPR. Start Baker or Fields. If the weather is continuing to go in the wrong direction for the Chicago game, I would feel very comfortable playing Baker Mayfield instead of Justin Fields. But again, we're keeping an eye on that. But based on matchup in itself, here's the thing. Fields transcends matchup because of his rushing upside. Like, you can't really take into account matchup when Fields does so much with his legs, right? So if you're just talking about passing potential against a secondary in terms of matchup, Baker's a better matchup play. He has better weather conditions, but what Fields provides in terms of over the course of the last 5 games since returning from injury is that 9.5 fantasy points per game he scores, just off of rushing statistics alone. When you're able to score that much on the ground, anything you do through the air is just gravy. So that's why I lean so heavily towards Fields, but hopefully that helps you, Jerry. Thank you. Brian sends in a question, says in a full PPR, what is this? OBJ, Quentin Johnston, or Greg Dortch? Let me check who I have ranked highest in a full PPR. Wide receivers, OBJ's there. Quentin Johnston is there. Okay, so I have it OBJ 1, Greg Dortch 2, Quentin Johnston 3 in a full PPR. Thank you. Aaron Northcutt says Achane, Javonte Williams, Higgins, DK, Evans, Downs, White. Need 2 wideouts, 2 flex. I started Gibbs in a half PPR already. Okay, cool. So 2 wideouts. Of the available that you have, I would play Evans and DK Metcalf, 1 and 2. As for the 2 flex opportunities that you have, it would be Zamir White as one of them and Devon Achane as the other. Thank you, Aaron. Max in the chat says, hey, Andrew, half PPR Rice or Achan? Let me check who I have ranked higher. Where is Rice in comparison? So Rashi Rice is there. And Achan is 2 spots ahead of him. So Achan will take the play there in a half PPR. In a full PPR would be the opposite. All right, we had a question that came in from Paul. Paul says, start Jaden Reed, James Conner, Demarcus Robinson, or Ty Chandler at my flex. Jaden Reed, James Conner, Demarcus Robinson, or Ty Chandler. Between those options, I'll take James Conner number 1. Jaden Reed number 2. Ty Chandler 3. Demarcus Robinson 4. As for your follow-up question, second question is for a full PPR. So the first one was for a full PPR. That's fine. I keep it as is. Second is start Bears defense, Raiders defense, Broncos defense, Ravens defense. Thanks for everything. Okay, so of the available, again, we'll go ahead and share kicker and defense rankings on screen. Bears is the current, I think I have them ranked the highest of the bunch. Bears number 1, Raiders 2, Broncos 3, Ravens 4, in that order. Yeah, that's how I currently have it. So that's the direction that I would go there. Thank you, Paul. Chris Moraga says, Happy New Year. Thank you, Chris. PPR, pick a running back and a flex. Alvin Kamara, Devon Achane, Jamar Chase, James Conner, Chris Godwin, and Jalen Warren. Kamara, 8. Okay, so we need a running back and a flex out of all those options in a full PPR. The running back I would play is probably Achane. Actually, you know what? It's not. Well, yeah, I think it probably is. James Conner's a good play, but I don't know if I could justify playing him. Man, I really like James Conner there. I just don't know if I could do it. It's probably Achane at running back. And then do I play Conner over Godwin or Chase? I don't think I do. Not in a full PPR. Let me check my full PPR rankings. Where is Chase in comparison? So Chase is there. Godwin's ahead of him in a full PPR. And Conner's below them both. So it would be Achane and Godwin. Those are the two, Chris. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. So catching up slowly but surely. For those of you who are joining us this morning, welcome. Hope you guys are doing well. Again, as you guys can see on screen, we have up-to-date rankings in regards to top 36 running backs and wide receivers. We also have top 12 kickers and defenses. We also have potential top 16 quarterback and top 16 quarterback and tight end rankings. So if you guys have any questions in regards to a half PPR, 4-point per passing touchdown, all that kind of jazz, hopefully the rankings on screen will give you an indication. We already got confirmation just a moment ago that Josh Jacobs will not be playing today. That was kind of the assumption, and that's kind of what we've been going with. Appreciate it. Okay, if you guys haven't yet already, do me a solid. Click the like button down below. It's greatly appreciated. Again, if those of you guys who are Patreon subscribers as of right now, the rankings have already been posted. And for those of you guys who have signed up via Underdog Fantasy from August 1st of 2023 till yesterday of midnight, using code Andrew, making that first time deposit minimum of $10, the rankings have already been sent out to you. So be sure to check that out. Thank you very much. Okay, let's see here. After Chris's question, we had Elseway who says, flex, Zamir White or Isaiah Pacheco. Between the two of them, regardless of scoring format, I would rather play Pacheco, whether it's half or full PPR. As for your follow-up question, Elseway, kicker, Matt Gay, Jason Sanders, Chase McLaughlin, Jake Moody. Of those available options, I have Jake Moody as my number 1 kicker of all the available that you mentioned. So Jake Moody would be the direction I would go in. Thank you. Twisted Folk says full PPR. We have Purdy, Pittman, Collins, Rashad White, Gibbs, Njoku. Flex is Zamir White. My bench consists of Baker. Okay, I wouldn't play him. Chase, that's not a bad option. In a full PPR, I'd probably play Chase in that flex spot. Any changes? Pittman still makes me nervous. I wouldn't be so nervous about Michael Pittman Jr. I mean, again, he's been so good when healthy with Gardner Minshew. The only thing I would ever suggest or consider is playing Chase over Zamir White. I think as of right now in a full PPR, I have Chase. He's 4 spots ahead of Zamir White in a full PPR. So that's the only thing that I would ever consider. You don't have to make the change. I think Zamir White's a great play today, but that's the only thing that I would suggest there. Twisted Folk, thank you. Aaron M says full PPR. We have Stafford, AJ Brown, Olave, Gibbs, Kamara, Kelsey, Jonathan Taylor in the flex. My bench consists of Achane, McBride, Godwin, and Zamir White. Man, you got it. Alrighty. I would probably play Achane over Kamara. You don't have to. I would also probably play Zamir White over Kamara. You don't have to. But Achane would be the suggestion that I would consider over him. If you want to play Kamara, I don't have a problem with it. That's the only change that I would suggest making as of right now. Thank you. Randy Gibson says full PPR, one wide receiver and one flex. Ty Chandler, T. Higgins, and Jaden Reed. The wide receiver I would play would be T. Higgins, and the flex that I would play is Ty Chandler. Thank you very much, Randy. Appreciate it. What did you say? Championship anxiety here? Yeah, no, listen, I understand it. Trust me, I'm living it myself. Ethan says full PPR, Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara. Can only play two. Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara. If I'm playing two of the three in a full PPR, I'm playing Kamara and Mixon. Those are the two that I have ranked highest. Thank you. Question from Call This Fate says, full PPR, two running backs, one wide receiver. We have Pacheco, Kenneth Walker, Eckler, Chandler, Higgins, and Lockett. Two running backs, one wide receiver. Pacheco is the first running back, and Kenneth Walker is the second running back. Those are the two that I would play there. As for wide receivers, between Higgins and Lockett, I probably end up going Lockett there. Yeah, I probably end up going Lockett there. Let me see here. What's this new update? There is no new update. I'm just getting a text message from a bozo. What am I looking at? All right. The scoring in this league can go up to 200 300 on an insane day. Yeah, I don't know what that means or why that's the case, but for right now, Pacheco, Walker, and Lockett. Those are the three I would suggest. Call this fate. Thank you. Appreciate it. Jesse sends in a question, says, I'm in 2 championship games, both in a half PPR. First game, I need major upside between Purdy or Fields. Yeah, I feel very comfortable that Purdy can get you that upside. Moving on, flex, Jeff Wilson Jr. or Isaiah Likely. I'd much rather play Isaiah Likely over Jeff Wilson Jr. Moving on to the second league, DJ Moore or Devon Achane in the flex. I would play Devon Achane there, considering weather conditions. Thank you. KJ sends in a question, says, how confident are you in playing Fields? I will let you know in about an hour, because I don't know if I can objectively say one way or the other how I feel in regards to my confidence level there. Let me see here. What are we looking for? We're looking at Falcons at Bears, right? Yeah, let me find this real quick. Let's go to Twitter again. I'm seeing a lot of reports that the referee crew from last night is being downgraded and will not be participating in the NFL playoffs. I mean, what a botched call, huh? Clear as day, Decker walks over to the ref, and there's no other word that would have came out of his mouth besides I'm reporting is eligible. But instead, these refs want to, take it into their own hands. Looking at a post from 1 minute ago, it's a picture. The weather is not that, it doesn't look like the weather is a complete disaster yet. Again, yet. We'll keep an eye on it. But for right now, I'm not 100% certain as to whether I'm going to go one way or the other in terms of my confidence. For right now, I would keep it pretty confident until I can see otherwise via the weather. Thank you. Let's hear. SOT Cal says, Zamir White, James Cook, Zeke, Eckler need one out in a full PPR. If I'm sitting one of the bunch in a full PPR, let me see who I ranked higher. Full PPR running backs, I have... Where's Zeke compared to Eckler? Yeah. So as of right now, Eckler's the odd man out. I play White, Cook, and Zeke over Eckler. Thank you. We had a question from Amarmo. Let's just call it Amar. Amar27 says, Jeff Wilson or Khalil Herbert? Jacob / Mostert hurt. Oh my God. I don't like either options. Let me check who I have ranked higher. I probably would suggest playing Khalil Herbert, but I don't even feel that comfortable with that. So technically, Deontay Foreman's back. Whenever Foreman's been active, the number 2 back has usually been Roschon Johnson. So I would assume they get back to that overall position. So Jeff Wilson's probably the guy. Jeff Wilson's probably the play out of the 2. Thank you. Jesus Castro says, I need a defense. Chargers, Carolina, Indianapolis. I'm starting Zamir. As of right now, I would play Indianapolis. They are literally the highest ranked defense that I have out of the bunch. Thank you. They're not on screen because they're number 14 on my overall defensive rankings, but Still my highest ranked of the entire group. Appreciate it. Sav Dad says Noah Brown, Zeke, or Singletary in the flex. Thanks for everything this season. Happy New Year. Thank you very much, Sav Dad. Okay, if you're playing in a, let me think about this. Where do I have half PPR Noah Brown looking like? As of right now, I'd probably play Zeke there. Half or full. Sav Dad, thank you. Appreciate it. Anthony C says half PPR. Higgins, Douglas, Reed. Need one. If I'm playing one of those three wide receivers, I'll play Jaden Reed. Moving on, James Conner or Javonte Williams in the flex. I'll play James Conner. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate it. H-Jock 7 says Henry, Kraft, Waller, Everett, PPR. Let me check who I have ranked highest in a full PPR. In a full PPR, I have Waller ranked the highest of the bunch. Waller, Henry, Everett, Kraft. That's the order in which I have it. Thank you. Gary Mandel. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate it. Gary says the following. Let me just check. No new reports. We're good to go. Cool. All right. Gary's question is the following. Double the usual defensive points for sacks. Okay. Fumble recoveries, interceptions. Considering starting Texans over Bears, if it is still snowing, I don't mind that. Listen, here's the thing about the defensive plays. A lot of defense in terms of potential fantasy points scored is a lot of luck, right? Besides the points that you're getting from besides the points that you're going to get typically from your defense is like preventing them from scoring, sacks, interceptions, fumble recoveries, a lot of those are return touchdowns. Those are all random. They really are. Sure, there are some teams that are more proficient in causing turnovers or potentially getting more sacks because of their pass rush, but oftentimes it is very difficult to predict. So if you feel confident about the Texans over the Bears, I don't have a problem with it, regardless of what the snow looks like in the Bears situation. If it's me, I'm playing the Bears because of that. But yeah, I don't mind playing the Texans there if you feel comfortable. AWOL sends in a question. Says Christian McCaffrey, Swift, James Cook, Zamir White, HN. Full PPR, I need 4. Thanks, Andrew. Okay. McCaffrey obviously is a must play. So is Swift. So is James Cook. In a full PPR, I'll take HN over Zamir White. That's the only difference there. Thank you. Donnie Rizzo says, not sure who to flex and which wide receiver to start. Running backs are currently McCaffrey, Zamir White, Aaron Jones, Jonathan Taylor. Wide receivers are Evans, Pittman, Chase, Demarcus Robinson, and Noah Brown. Okay, so if we're playing 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and in an overall flex, this is the way that I would approach it. McCaffrey obviously is the start at running back. It's pretty easy. The second running back that I would play would be Jonathan Taylor. So those are your starting running backs. Done. As for your wide receivers, I like Evans and I like Pittman. And then if I'm looking for the flex option, it's purely based on scoring format. If it's a half PPR, I'll play Zamir White in your flex. If it's a full PPR, I'll play Chase. If it's a standard, I'll play White as well. Thank you. Let's see here. We have a question from Danton Williamson who says, KJ Osborne, Dontavion Wicks, Curtis Samuel, half PPR. Currently, I have it in the order of Dontavion Wicks. Is he number 1? Let me just check one more time. What's the scoring format, by the way? Half PPR. Cool. So I currently have a Dontavion Wicks 1, Curtis Samuel 2, and then KJ Osborne 3. That's the current order in which I have it ranked. Thank you, Danton. Appreciate it. Rick sends in a question, says full PPR. But RB gets 0.3 per carry, flex. Okay, cool. Full PPR, 0.3 per carry. We have Najee, Likely, and Rashid Shaheed. Okay, let me think about this. If Najee Harris has, let's say, 12 rushing attempts times 0.3, we get an additional 4 points there. Is that enough to convince me to play him over to the alternatives? Let me check where I have him ranked in my model in a full PPR. Okay, where the heck is Najee? Where are you? .3 per rushing attempt, and then if it moves up to like 16 rushing attempts, if they have like an actual good game, 0.3, you get about 4.8 points, almost a touchdown of points just off of rushing attempts in itself. But do I still trust it? Like currently, based on my projection, I probably play Isaiah Likely there. And I bank on the idea that he could probably catch the ball 5-6 times for 50, 60 yards. If Najee Harris scores a touchdown, he outscores Likely pretty easily because of this overall point per carry scenario. So, as of right now, do I take the risk and play him against Seattle? Shoot. Are they going to be able to actually beat Seattle? I don't think so. I'd probably play Isaiah Likely there. That's the direction I'd go with, Rick. Thank you. If you think Najee Harris could have himself a solid game and potentially find the end zone, then he is the better play. If he scores a touchdown, it's over. Even in the full PPR circumstance. But I think that's the difference. He needs that 6-point inflex. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to compete or keep up with it. Sven Dragon says watching Chicago live cam doesn't look bad. Yeah, that's what I was thinking at. That's what I was thinking as well. That's why I haven't really moved any, of my overall rankings. Joshua Wilkins sends in a question. Thank you, Joshua. Says, is Zamir really better play than over Bijan? Yeah, based on matchup in itself, I think matchup and overall rushing attempt opportunity, yes. And of course, weather concerns. That's in a half PPR, I would lean towards playing Zamir White. As for your follow-up question, need upside in terms of defense. Raiders, Texans, Bears went up against the Browns defense. If we're looking for upside between the bunch, I still think that the Bears have upside. I don't really have a problem playing the other defenses like the Raiders or the Texans. I think the Raiders have been just as consistent as the Bears as of late in terms of overall defensive play. So I don't mind that as an alternative option, but I do like the Bears. Friendly sends in a question, says championship game standard scoring league. Yesterday you advised that I play Lockett and Romeo Doubs. I just got Jaden Reed. Who do I play him over? I would play him over Romeo Doubs. So you would play Lockett with Jaden Reed there. Okay? Thank you, Friendly. Appreciate it. Paul Getz, and leave Derrick Henry in your flex, by the way, Friendly. You're good to go. Appreciate it. Moving on. Paul Getz says full PPR. I need full PPR, need tight end, 2 flex. We have Trey McBride, George Kittle, Jamar Chase, Gus the Bus Edwards, Deontay Johnson, Rashid Shaheed for the championship. If it's my team, I play Chase, I play McBride, and I play Kittle. Those are the 3 that I play in a full PPR. Thank you. Appreciate it, Paul. Alrighty. After Paul gets his question, we have a question that comes in from... Where are we? Where did we go? Okay. We have Reuben Roberts who says, hey, Andrew, full PPR. Pick 2 wide receivers. 1 tight end, 1 flex. Okay. So of the following, we have Douglas, Addison, Dortch. We have Osborne, Demarcus Robinson, C.H., Downs, Henry, Waller, Brian Robinson Jr. Okay, so of the following, 2 wide receivers that we're playing out of this group, Demarcus Robinson and Demario Douglas. As for the tight end that I would play, it would be in a full PPR, I would take Darren Waller there. As for the flex that I would play out of this bunch, most likely ends up being Douglas is already playing, Robinson's already playing, Waller's already playing. So it's between those 2 in a full PPR. Let me check who I have ranked higher. Okay. Hunter Henry would be the flex. So it would be Douglas, Robinson, Waller, Henry. Thank you, Reuven. Appreciate it. DeAndre Thompson says, full PPR, Etienne or Rice, Collins or Achane. Let me check who I have ranked higher at a full PPR. So in a full PPR, where's Rice in comparison to Etienne? So I have Etienne 2 spots ahead of Rice. I have Collins pretty far ahead of Achane. So it would be Travis Etienne as the first one, which I don't mind playing Rashee Rice. They're both in the same tier, and they're only 2 spots. Number 16 compared to number 18 in my rankings. But Nico Collins is number 19, while Devon Achane's 30. So I'd play Nico Collins in that second circumstance. So Etienne in the first, Collins in the second. That's the way I would go, DeAndre. Thank you. DeAndre, I appreciate it. Question from Duro Modi, who says, sup, Andrew? Looking like I'm going to be taking an L in the chip. I just wanted to say thank you for this year. Played a big role in getting me here into the play championship. Played against Njoku and CeeDee Lamb. Damn. I need Achane, Kyron, and McCaffrey to go off. honestly, I don't think you're. I mean, of all the running backs that you need for a pop-off game, McCaffrey, Kyron Williams, and Achane seem like the perfect combination if I was going to look for one to find a pop-off game. So let's not give up just yet. Maybe you want to use some reverse psychology universe to try to find yourself success, but I don't think you're completely out of the. I mean, again, in a full PPR, you're taking out CeeDee Lamb. The game's probably over, but in most circumstances, maybe we give it a shot and let's see what happens. Yeah, don't give up all hope. Thank you very much, Duramodi. Appreciate it. Logger sends in a question. Says, got a flex one, full PPR, Ridley, D-Hop, and Ty. Is that Ty Chandler or is that Tyler Lockett? I'm assuming it's Ty Chandler. Between those three options in a full PPR, let's see who I have ranked highest. Where's Chandler in comparison to him? Chandler is there. I have him ahead of the bunch. He is my highest ranked of all the options that you have here. Appreciate your hard work. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Logger. I would go with Ty Chandler there, number 1. D-Hop, number 2. Ridley, number 3. Appreciate it. Joe Boggs says, Chase over either Pacheco or Jonathan Taylor. Just had Gibbs against my opponent, CeeDee Lamb. Looking for upside. Would I play Chase over either of those running backs? Probably not. Let me check. Where do I have PPR Pacheco in comparison to Chase? Pacheco is there. I have him 4 spots ahead of Chase. Yeah, I probably still play both the running backs in this circumstance, Joe Boggs. If you're going to play Chase over one of those running backs, it would technically be over Pacheco. Thank you. Reuven Roberts says, or Chandler. Reuven, where's your question? Let's go find it. Nope, not. Remove. Okay. What are we looking for? Control F. We're looking for Reuven. Come on, man. Why can't I type it incorrectly? Here we go. So, yeah, Reuven Roberts. If you can, what I would additionally play is... So I'd play Ty Chandler over Henry in the flex. That's the way I would go about it if you have an opportunity. So, yeah, if you have Ty Chandler, I'd play him over Hunter Henry in the flex. Thank you. Titan76 says Derrick Henry, Zamir White, or Isaiah Likely in the flex. I'll take Zamir White there. Thank you. Nick sends in... Let's see here. But yeah, Titan, if I was to rank them in order, it would be Zamir White 1, Derrick Henry 2, Isaiah Likely 3. Nick sends in a question, says, RB options are Kamara, ETN, Rashad White, Jonathan Taylor, and DeAndre Swift. Okay. So, as it currently stands for me, Rashad White is the highest ranked. Then it's Swift. Then it's ETN. Sorry. Rashad White, Swift, Taylor, ETN, Kamara in that order. Thank you, Nick. What do we have here? Joseph Romero says, half PPR, need 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. Mixon, Devontae Adams, Flowers, Lockett, Demarcus Robinson, Shaheed, Noah Brown. 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. Mixon, Devontae Adams, Flowers, Lockett, Demarcus Robinson, Shaheed, Noah Brown. Okay, so the 2 wide receivers I would play are Devontae Adams and Zay Flowers. The flex I would play out of the group is probably Joe Mixon in a half PPR. So I think you have it on point there, Joseph Romero. As for your follow-up question, Bills, Raiders, or Colts, I have the Bills ranked the highest. Thank you. BC sends in a question, says, what's up? Half PPR with Mostert currently out. Should I unleash Achane over the safe floor of Zeke? I would. Yes, I would. And Stafford or CJ Stroud. Happy New Year, bruv. Thank you very much, BC. So, I would feel pretty comfortable playing, what's his name? Achane over Zeke in a half PPR scoring format. Mainly because Zeke doesn't have as much potential for burst upside without the additional points per reception in comparison. As for Stafford or Stroud, I could justify playing Stafford over Stroud easily. I talked about it earlier. He's been extremely consistent as of late, and he's been healthy and active in comparison to Stroud, who's coming off of his 2-week hiatus with a concussion. So if you feel like you're just trying to roll with the hot hand at quarterback, Stafford is the play. But I do believe that CJ Stroud has more upside within the overall matchup. What are these reports that I'm getting? Okay. Good. Okay, no problem. Thank you, BC. Appreciate it. Sinatra TV says, Achane or Connor and why? Let's see here. Where do I have Achane in comparison to Connor in a half PPR? So on screen, I currently have Achane at 10 and Connor at 12. Look, I think I've talked about it earlier in regards to James Conner. James Conner has a good matchup, at least what it looks like to be a good matchup, and he's been playing well as of late. The only difference is the offense that Achane is associated with and what we have witnessed Achane produce over the course of this season is at any given moment, this man can literally run for 70 yards and a touchdown. And considering how much red zone opportunities the Miami Dolphins have had for the entire season, there's a reason why Mostert has 21 total touchdowns. So if you're going to put Achane in that role, you're going to give him those full opportunity share of touches. It's kind of difficult not to assume that he's going to put up the top 12 numbers that Mostert's been able to do over the course of this entire season. I know, it's a difficult matchup, but I think he's a talented enough player to be able to overcome said matchup. Thank you. Jake sends in a question, says Zamir White, Eckler, James Conner, full PPR. Man, I would consider James Conner over White in a full PPR. I don't know if I would do it just yet. For right now, I'd probably take White number 1, Conner 2, Eckler 3 in that order. Jake, thank you. Just Chrome says, had CeeDee Lamb last night. LFG, let's fucking go. All right, atta baby. Up 7 in a full PPR, 2 running backs, 1 wide receiver, and 1 flex needed. We have Bijan, Zamir, Achane, Javonte, Flowers, Godwin, Chase. Any updates on weather for Josh Allen? I have no clue. I'd have to keep an eye on that probably within the next hour. I look into some tabs on that in regards to what it looks like against the New England Patriots. But in terms of answering your question, in terms of running backs, Zamir White and Achane would be the 2 that I play there. Just Chrome. As for your wide receiver, I would play in a full PPR. Let me see. Do I have Godwin ahead of Flowers? No, I do not. So I still have Flowers there, 1 spot ahead of him. So Flowers would be the wide receiver, and then Godwin would be the flex. Thank you, Just Chrome. Appreciate it. Tyler Collins says in a half PPR, pick 2, Conner, Adams, Godwin, Eckler with the lead. If I'm picking 2 of those 4, I would play Conner and I would play Godwin. Thank you. Moving on to Crypt Keeper, who says full PPR with a 40-point yard bonus, Demarcus Robinson or Darren Waller. You know what? Let me just check my rankings. I don't know about the bonus. I don't know even how I would add that into my projection model. To be honest, I would have to do some different coding and stuff. But in regards to Demarcus Robinson versus Darren Waller, if I have Demarcus Robinson there in the flex currently, I have, where the heck do I have Waller? Waller is ahead of him. Let's just put it that way. He is just blatantly ahead of him. He's ahead of him by 5 overall rankings, 64 compared to 69 in a full PPR. So if you think Demarcus Robinson is more likely to have that 40-yard, reception boost, I don't even know how many points that gives you in terms of the quote-unquote bonus, but for right now in a full PPR, I have Waller ahead of him. Thank you. All right, moving after Crypt Keeper, we have Brandon Stark. I'm an idiot. Guys, my dyslexia really does kick in sometimes. It really does. Brandon Stark. Great last name, by the way. Full PPR. Pick 2, Devon Achane, James Conner, Kenneth Walker. Achane, James Conner, Kenneth Walker. Yeah, I'll take James Conner and Achane there. Those are the 2 that I'd feel comfortable with. Thank you. Manil Patel says, full PPR. We need 2 options between Reed, Lockett, and Zay Flowers. I'll take Reed and I'll take Zay Flowers there. And then as for your follow-up question, Eagles or Packers defense, I'll take the Eagles. Thank you, Patel. Appreciate it. Famous Maker sends in a question. Famous Maker. There's nothing attached. Famous Maker, can you do me a favor and just type in the live chat so that I can answer whatever question you had? There wasn't anything attached to your super chat. Greatly appreciate it, Famous Maker. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and change the rankings on screen to kicker and defenses just so that for those of you who are in need of it, we can go ahead and get those. While we wait for Famous Maker's overall question, we have Nathan J, who says, how close is Carr to Love? I think it's on screen, isn't it? Carr is number 13. Love is number 11. I think that's pretty damn close if I had to say myself. Non-PPR, I have a lead with Sun God and Montgomery, but playing Christian McCaffrey, I have to play Shaheed or in Kraft. How close is Carr? I think if I'm going to trust one over the other, I just trust implicitly Love just a little bit more. I think Derek Carr just has so much volatility potentially there in comparison to Jordan Love, who obviously has been a little bit more consistent all season long. Thank you, Nathan. Jordan Lenz sends in a very generous super chat. Thank you, Jordan. Says start 3 in a flex full PPR. Bijan, Adams, Zeke, Zamir, and Jaden Reed. Okay. Man, my cough is not going away. Bijan, Adams, Zeke, Zamir, and Reed. Okay. Let's go to full PPR. Let's go to Ezekiel. So Ezekiel Elliott's there. And then we have Bijan, who's probably ahead. I have Bijan Robinson ranked a little bit lower, but like, where is he in comparison to Adams? Bijan Robinson's there. Okay, very well. And then you have Zamir White. Okay, so of the available options you have here, Jordan, I would play Zamir White, I would play Zeke, and I'd play Adams. Thank you, Jordan. Appreciate it. Chris Valenotti says, need to choose between Walker, Pickens, and Ridley in the flex. Between those 3.5 PPR, even in a full, I probably just play Kenneth Walker. You said you're leaning towards Ridley. I don't know if I can trust Ridley with CJ Beathard. That's the issue that I have. So if you want to play Ridley, go for it. Otherwise, I'm leaning towards Walker. Thank you very much. Happy New Year. Where are we at here? We had a question. So I'm looking for Famous Maker, right? So Famous Maker says, hi, Andrew. Thanks for the great year. Half PPR. Choose two. Bijan, Kelsey, Zamir. In a half PPR, let me check where I have Bijan in comparison to Kelsey. Kelsey. Currently, where is Bijan? Where art thou? Hello. I currently have Kelsey ahead of Bijan Robinson in a half PPR. So I'll take Kelsey and I'll take Zamir White. Thank you, Famous Maker. Appreciate it. All right, let me scroll back up. Where art thou in terms of the questions? We're catching up slowly but surely. All right, here we go. Hug Tredge says in a question. Says Standard League. Got a dud out of Gibbs yesterday. I have James Cook in my lineup right now. I'm thinking of switching to Zamir White. Am I overthinking things? In a standard league, I don't mind it. I think I don't mind it at all, actually. I think considering majority of the upside that James Cook finds is in receiving. He doesn't get the overall goal line carries because, of course, Josh Allen does. I'm perfectly fine swapping to Zamir White there. Thank you, Tredge. JC Norling says, full PPR, pick two. Olave, DJ Moore, Barkley. Olave, DJ Moore, Barkley. I'll take Olave and Barkley there. Thank you. The Football Hour says, in my champ full PPR, Jeff Wilson Jr., Gabe Davis, CEH, or Spears. I'm starting Henry currently. I have Jeff Wilson Jr. jersey. He saved me last year. Okay. I just don't know if I'm playing. I'm not playing CEH. I don't think I can technically trust Gabe Davis. He had one good week in the last month. And I don't know if I want to. I think I probably played Tyjae Spears out of the group. I just pair him up with Henry in that circumstance. Football Hour. Thank you. Caleb says championship day / game. Derrick Henry or DeAndre Hopkins full PPR. I'd rather just play Derrick Henry. Thank you. Byron McGee says full PPR. I need a flex. Devontae Smith, Zay Flowers, Derrick Henry, Javonte Williams. Would you stack Likely and Zay Flowers? Have Everett in as of now? Personally, yes, I would stack both the Baltimore Ravens, and I would play Zay Flowers in your flex, and I play Likely at tight end. Thank you, Brian McGee. Appreciate it. Eric Burke says half PPR. Brian Robinson Jr. or DeMarcus Robinson? I'd probably, if it's me, I'd probably play DeMarcus Robinson. Thank you. Friendly says, thanks for the help. Glad you're feeling better. Yeah, listen, I'm not 100%. I'll tell you that objectively. But Deontay Foreman, healthy scratch. Okay, so whoever asked the question earlier in regards to Khalil Herbert or it was Khalil Herbert or Jeff Wilson Jr. Play Khalil Herbert. Let me change my rankings on screen. Give me a moment. So Deontay Foreman being a healthy scratch just basically solidifies Khalil Herbert is the play and the starter of that team. So just keep that in mind. I need to go ahead and I need to adjust my rankings accordingly. So let's go ahead and let's go to Photoshop real quick. Let's, where's Deontay Foreman? Get him out of there. I'm going to replace him straight up with Khalil Herbert. I'd probably play him ahead of Brian Robinson Jr. now. So I'll do that accordingly. Okay, so that's that. I need to save multiple rankings here. So let's do this one. Boom. What is this? Quarterback, tight end. Okay, file. Save as. Who else is? Any other reports that I missed here? Von Miller. That's fine. That's irrelevant. Active. Commits active. Good. Okay. So let's go ahead. Let's save as JPEG. Right there. Boom. Okay, so As it currently sits on screen, I should have, yes. So as it currently sits on screen, Khalil Herbert is now ranked at running back because Deontay Foreman is a healthy scratch, which means he's healthy, but they made him inactive today. I need to go ahead and I need to change the rankings for the kicker and defensive page as well, just so that there's no confusion there. Where's this? Kickers, defenses, boom. File, save as, copy, JPEG, and we go there, save, yes, done. Okay, file, save the document, and we're good to go. I'm glad that that information was made public so that there's no confusion now. We're good to go. Okay, back to answering questions. All right, cool. So after Eric Burke, after Friendly, we have Double J Miller, who says, hey, Andrew, currently my running backs are Rachaad White and Joe Mixon. I have an opportunity to pick up Zamir White. Should I? Yes, I would pick up Zamir White and I would play him over Mixon today. Thank you, Double J. Appreciate it. X Franklin says, full PPR, flex. Who should I start? Chris Godwin or Zamir White? In a full PPR, I'm fairly certain I have Zamir White ranked lower. Let me confirm this. I do, in fact, have Chris Godwin ahead of Zamir White in a full PPR. So I would play Godwin there. X Franklin, thank you. Tony sends in a question. Where's Tony's question? Tony sent in a follow-up. Said, Achane, Rachaad White, Zamir White, or Saquon? I need 3. I would play Achane. I'd play Zamir, and I'd play Rachaad. I'd end up probably benching Saquon in this circumstance, which I don't mind because, again, that matchup against the Rams is not pretty. Gabe Mendoza says, hey, Andrew, I'm in the championship game in a full PPR league. Should I flex Jerry Jeudy or Demarcus Robinson today? Thanks for the help. So consider it. Okay, so this is the reason why I have Jerry Jeudy as high as I currently do and why I feel confident in potentially playing him. I understand that he's been dealing with an illness all week, but he is active today. Cortland Sutton, inactive. And also, we have Marvin Mims, inactive. So 2 of the 3 starting wide receivers of this team are inactive, and Jerry Jeudy is the last man standing. Their tight end position is always in flux. With the new quarterback, there's literally only one place to go with the ball in terms of the passing game. It's either to one of those running backs or potentially in the direction of Jerry Jeudy. So I prefer playing Jerry Jeudy in this circumstance over Demarcus Robinson. Thank you very much, Gabe. Appreciate it. Tanner Brownell says, Kamara or Flowers? I have JJ, Olave, Achane in it right now. Kamara or Flowers? Let me see who I have ranked higher in a half PPR. Because in a full PPR, I'd probably go Flowers. But let me see. Flowers. In a half PPR, I have Kamara 1 spot ahead of Flowers. Literally 1 spot. 25 compared to 26. In a full PPR, it is Flowers ahead of Kamara. Thank you. I don't know what your format is, but hopefully that helps, Tanner. Brandon Malone says, full PPR. Start Douglas, Shaheed, or Deontay Johnson. Of those 3, I have DeMario Douglas ranked the highest in a full PPR. Down big in another league. Need 2 flex starts between Cook, Flowers, Zamir White, Mixon, and Chandler. In the other league, I'd probably play James Cook, and I'd probably play Zay Flowers there. Thank you, Brandon Malone. Cinco2X says PPR. Kamara, Walker, Connor, Zeke, Chandler. Pick one. If I'm playing one of those options, potentially, I play James Conner this week. Thank you. Tony says Achane, Rachaad White, Zamir White, Saquon, need 3. Okay, we took care of that one earlier. Thank you. Just rolling back towards it. Jason Kimber says, full PPR, tight end, Derrick Henry. Sorry, not Derrick Henry. Hunter Henry or Tucker Kraft. I have Hunter Henry ranked higher. Running back, need 3. Achane, White, Hubbard, both Robinsons. So if I'm playing 3 running backs, I'll play Zamir White, I'll play Achane, and I'll play Bijan Robinson. Jason Kimber, thank you. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Lackland Patino. Yeah, Lackland says, debating starting Stroud over Fields, snowing in Chicago. Yeah, let me go ahead and let me look at the update in regards to how the weather looks in Chicago as it currently stands. It's definitely snowing. Is it enough to make the swap? I don't mind it. I think they're close enough in terms of rankings to where I'm okay playing Stroud over Fields. That's fine by me. Thank you. To the max says, sup, Andrew. First team, full PPR. Need 3 running backs out of the following: Bijan, Cook, Achane, Zamir White, Zeke, Gus Edwards. Okay, so of those options, if you need 3 running backs, Achane, White, and Zeke. Boom, boom, boom. Actually, no. You have Cook as well. So Cook, Achane, Zamir White. Those would be the 3 to the max. As for your follow-up question for the second team, full PPR, 2 running backs needed: Bijan, Etienne, Aaron Jones, and Connor. Of those options in a full PPR, I have Etienne and Connor ranked the highest. Thank you to the max. T-Mode says PPR. Pick 2. Likely Aaron Jones, Chandler, Lockett. Okay. Full PPR, tight end premium. Likely Aaron Jones, Chandler. Okay, so let me see where I have Lockett in comparison to those running backs. I think the tight end premium does give likely the go-ahead there. Where's Aaron Jones in comparison? Where are you, Jonesies? Okay, so there's that. So as it currently stands, I would, with a tight end premium factor T-Mode, I would go with Likely and I would go with Chandler. Thank you, T-Mode. Appreciate it. Joseph Romero says, Andrew, just wanted to say thanks for getting me to the championship. Hopefully your rankings are spot on again today. Cheers, Happy New Year. I mean, listen, hopefully they are. I can guarantee you they're not 100% accurate. I can guarantee you that. Because there are going to be some crazy things that happen today, just like they do every Sunday. But yeah, hopefully we're on the right path, and hopefully we can lead to a championship. Thank you very much, Joseph. Happy New Year as well. Youngberg4 says 6 point per passing touchdown / rushing touchdown. Stafford or Fields? In a 6 point per passing touchdown league, I'd be very comfortable playing Matthew Stafford there. I think at that point, considering the weather, all the circumstances and variables, I think I'm comfortable playing Stafford there in a 6 point per passing touchdown league over Justin Fields. Now, as for your following question, defense, Rams or Raiders? I'm leaning towards the Rams with my quarterback. That's fine. I'm okay with that. If you want to play the Rams defense, I have no problem with that at all. For my DN, we have Van Ginkel or Jonathan Cooper. I don't play in an IDP league, which is individual defensive player. So I have no context as to what Van Ginkel versus Jonathan Cooper even looks like for fantasy purposes. So I would say don't look towards me for that answer, but I'll take Stafford. I'll take the Rams defense. That's fine by me, Youngberg. Thank you again. Just Chrome says, just reported Zay Flowers going to be on a pitch count. Change anything? Would you play Godwin over Bijan over him in the flex? If you want to play Godwin, that's fine by me. Here's the thing, guys. Like we've talked about before in the past, reports that come out on Sunday morning, they have to be vetted. Depending on who said the report, oftentimes they are, I would say, they end up being inconsequential by the end of the week. Oftentimes reports that come out in regards to players being on pitch counts on Sunday morning typically do not come to fruition in comparison to, reports earlier in the week that come out on a Wednesday or a Thursday. So as of right now, I wouldn't really change anything in regards to Zay Flowers. If he's starting, he's going to be fine. He's going to get his targets. If you feel comfortable pivoting from him and potentially starting like you mentioned, Godwin or Bijan, that's fine. I think like if you're talking about a full PPR, half PPR, I think Godwin's very comparable to his overall potential for upside. So I don't mind the pivot there if you're worried about it. But overall, very seldom this season have we seen a Sunday morning report that you guys have relayed to me or that I have gotten in terms of my updates on my phone. And very often or very seldom have those reports actually come to fruition in terms of the pitch count actually being legit. So, I mean, like the most recent one that I remember was people were saying Aaron Jones is only going to play 10 to 15 snaps. Dude played 29 snaps that week and he had 17 total touches. Like, again, the reports that come out on Sunday morning, don't put too much stock into them. All right. We had a question after Just Chrome. Where are we at? Trying to catch up to the best of my ability. I greatly appreciate you guys supporting the channel by clicking the like button and, of course, being patient. Just trying to help as much as I possibly can. Can you switch back to kickers and defenses? Absolutely. Okay. Chris Curry says full PPR. 1 running back, 1 flex. Reed, Chandler, Mixon, White. I would go with Reed and White there, Chris Curry. Thank you. JK sends in a question. Says, full PPR. Just played Lamb and the Browns defense. Help. With an exclamation point. I'm afraid to start Flowers, calf injury, and Ramsey. Keep Flowers or start Noah Brown, Pickens, or Shaheed. If it's me, I play Flowers. I'm not even too concerned about it. Again, I think all this like report stuff is getting a little bit out of hand. But that's just me. Again, you got to remember, guys, I'm the one that wanted to play Jalen Hurts in the sick Monday game against Seattle. Now, it panned out well for me, but again, it's crazy, right? There are some things that I do. I've played Gabe Davis multiple times in the last couple weeks where it has not panned out well, right? So there are some decisions that I make that aren't on point, but in this circumstance, I'm not too really concerned about these reports coming out. X-Man XRP sends in a question, says, full PPR, 2 running backs, 1 flex. We have Swift, Henry, Zeke, Connor. 2 running backs out of that group in the flex. And you have Zach, what does it say? Have Zach Z as well. Not sure Walker will play. I think you mean Zach C as in Charbonnet. Tough call, big money on the line. I'm going nuts. Okay, so of the available options you have, in a full PPR, I would probably just go with Swift, Connor, and Zeke as your 2 running backs in your flex there, X-Men. Thank you. Bale Kim. What's up, Bale? Hope you're doing well. Full PPR, flex pick. Derrick Henry, Devontae Smith, and Isaiah Likely. Let me see who I've ranked higher in a full PPR. I'm fairly certain I want to play Henry there. Yeah, I have Derrick Henry ranked higher out of the group. Thank you. He is, when I say he's ranked higher, I mean he's literally 1 spot ahead of Devontae Smith in a full PPR. 1 spot, but enough to where I'm confident about it. Thank you. Connor Rudden says half PPR, Gus Edwards or Tyler Lockett. Between the two, let me see. I think I might have Gus Edwards ranked higher in half PPR, and I wouldn't even be surprised. I think it's kind of a solid play. Yes, I do have Gus Edwards ranked higher as it currently stands, Connor. Thank you. Kevin S. says Kraft or Chigozimo Okonkwo. I have Kraft ranked higher. Thank you. Gunny sends in a question. Gunny says 1 wide receiver and 2 flex. Half PPR from HN, Zamir, DJ, Flowers, Puka. Have a terrific New Year, Andrew. Thank you very much, Gunny. Of the available options you have, the wide receiver that I would suggest is Puka Nacua. And the 2 players that I would go in with the flex is HN and Zamir White. Thank you, Zamir, Gunny. Appreciate it. Corey Huggins says, pick 3 in a full PPR. Eckler, Bijan, Cup, Zamir. I would play Cup, Zamir, and Eckler. Hugo sends in a question. Says, in a full PPR, I need a running back. Only one on your list is available, is Algier. Any other recommendations? If Khalil Herbert has somehow, some way become available in your league, now that I've most recently, I know that you sent this question in probably 10, 20 minutes ago, but if in fact Khalil Herbert is available, I would really like to fire that up as a potential play today. Thank you. Outside of that, other running backs that are off of the top 36 list in a half PPR would be, after Dylan, we have Roshan Johnson. We have Chase Brown. We have Amari DeMercado, Jeff Wilson Jr., CEH, Samaje Perine, Jaleel McLaughlin, Ronnie Rivers, Leonard Fournette, Elijah Mitchell. I mean, I'm just going through the whole list. But anyway, those are names. Thank you, Hugo. Let me know. Do me a favor, Hugo. Type in the chat and give me like a list of a couple names. Otherwise, Algier, we can roll with it. Thank you. Who are you? 60 says, half PPR, last spot for the flex is between Judy and Jalen Warren or Gus Edwards. Okay. Judy, Jalen Warren, Gus Edwards. Let me see who I've ranked highest of the bunch. So we have Judy. Where art thou? Judy's there. Jalen Warren is there. I have Gus Edwards ranked higher than the both. As for your follow-up question, tight end slot, Hunter Henry, Gerald Everett, Dalton Kincaid. In a half PPR, I would play Hunter Henry there. So I'd go with Gus Edwards, Hunter Henry. Let's hope for touchdown upside there. Who are you? Thank you. CES 253. Is that a class? Is that like a computer science class? CES 253 says Barkley or Diggs in a full PPR. Let me check who I've ranked higher. You're not gonna like it. I'm gonna probably say Diggs at this point. I have Diggs. I got Diggs about 8 spots ahead of Barkley in a full PPR. Ravion Jordan says half PPR going up against CD. I'm the last. I'm the last flex. I think you meant in the last flex. Likely, was it Romeo Dobbs, JSN, or Osborne? Also, Zamir White or Kamara. Zamir White or Kamara in a half PPR, I'd rather have Zamir White. As for Likely, Dobbs, JSN, and Osborne in a half PPR, let me see where I have them in comparison. I probably, in a half PPR, I probably end up playing JSN or Likely, but I probably, let me see who I have ranked higher. Where's JSN in comparison? I have Isaiah Likely ranked higher. So out of the available options you have, Ravion Jordan, Likely is the highest ranked flex player I have. I'd go with Zamir White over Kamara. I have Lamar over Mahomes, and we're good to go. Thank you. Someone said Hunter is out. Hunter is out. Is that Hunter Henry? Or is that just a B? If it's BS, I'm banning you. Hunter Henry inactive Sunday as of 13 minutes ago. Thank you. Appreciate the update. Okay, so whoever I've told to play Hunter Henry, do not play Hunter Henry. Let me go ahead and let me change rankings really quickly. Greatly appreciate. Who is that in the chat that said that? Rich Rodriguez. Thank you, Rich. I appreciate that, my man. As of 13 minutes ago, huh? Man, they're making it real tough on me today. Okay, so let me go ahead. Let me open up Photoshop. Let me just mess around with a couple of these rankings real quick. I'm trying to open up Discord all of a sudden. Let's close that real quick before I crash my computer. So we're looking to replace. Okay, so Hunter Henry's gone. We move everybody up one, and then we got to move K. Dotton into number 16. So let's do that accordingly. Boom, boom. And we'll go here, and then we go back here. I need to change these accordingly as well. Let's add these back to the conversation. Hunter Henry's gone. We move everybody up accordingly. File, save as copy, JPEG, quarterback, tight end, save, yes, boom. Okay, so Hunter Henry officially inactive. Good to know now before later. So if you need a pivoting option, you could potentially find one that is maybe one of the ones that are available that you can see on screen in terms of the overall rankings. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Moving on, we had a question that came from KJ. KJ, thank you for the very generous super chat. It says, full PPR, I need to set up my entire lineup. My quarterback is Jordan Love or Justin Fields. If by the time, okay, so this is what I'll say. In about 30 minutes or so, maybe 45 minutes, I'll make my final designation as to what I want to do with the Bears. But for right now, I'd have Fields in the lineup. Running back, you have Pacheco, Chandler, Eckler, and Robinson Jr., and along with Madison, pick 2. If I'm picking 2, if it's Brian Robinson Jr., yeah, it's probably Brian, so I don't really want to play him. So if it's between the bunch, I'd probably end up going with Pacheco and Eckler in a full PPR as your starting running backs. As for wide receivers, KJ, I would go with Justin Jefferson and Debo as the 1-2. I would end up playing Nacua in the flex. And yeah, so again, Fields, Pacheco, Eckler, JJ, Debo, Nacua. Thank you. Chris the Red says, I'm in the championship in a full PPR. I need a flex. Henry even with 5 points last versus the Texans or Chandler and why? Where art thou, Henry, in a full PPR? Okay, so let's go full PPR. Let's go to Derrick Henry, Ty Chandler. I have Ty Chandler 2 spots below Derrick Henry. The only reason I think that Derrick Henry, in comparison to his last performance against that team, you got to remember, Derrick Henry, 2 touchdowns in 4 of the last 5 games. The only game in which he didn't accomplish that was against the Houston Texans. Now, the reason why I have as much confidence as I do in terms of playing him is because last time out, Derrick Henry was literally embarrassed. The entire offense was embarrassed. Derrick Henry had 20 touches and the fewest yardage with 20 touches in NFL history with less than 15. So I would assume that this team is coming in here and has a mission on hand to go ahead and get a little bit of revenge for their guy. This will be probably the final time as a Tennessee Titan that he takes on the Houston Texans. So I'm sure that they want to go ahead and get him on the right track early. So I'm leaning towards the idea that they probably give him 20 plus touches and it won't be as bad as it was last time out. Charles T says half PPR. Wide receiver Downs, DeMarcus Robinson, or Douglas. If I was to order them, it would be Robinson 1, Douglas 2, Downs 3. Thank you, Charles. Flacco's bedtime says Foreman is out. We have Brian Robinson or Khalil Herbert. I live in Chicago, and I can confirm it is snowing consistently with sustained winds. Perhaps works for Herbert's favor. Yes, I think Khalil Herbert is a better play than Brian Robinson there in that circumstance. Flacco, bedtime. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Hugo says, full PPR, start Algier or Herbert, considering their matchups. Yeah, I'll play Herbert there in that circumstance. Thank you. Adam Amar says, call me crazy, but debating Waller over Kittle. You are crazy. Thank you, Adam. Kaleo says, half PPR, play 2. Evans, Nacua, Ayuk. If I'm starting 2.5 PPR, if I'm not mistaken, who do I have ranked higher? I have Nacua at 6. I have Ayuk at 7, and I have Evans at 10. So that's in a full PPR. Apologies. In a half PPR, I have it as Nacua, Evans, and an Ayuk. Yeah. In a full PPR, I have Ayuk ahead of Evans. I don't know if I would technically change it. No, because the touchdown upside is always in Evans' favor. So yeah, in a half PPR, it's probably Nacua and Evans. Thank you. Bossa B says standard pick 2. Chuba, Aaron Jones, and Herbert. Yeah, I'll take Chuba and Aaron Jones there. Actually, it's a standard league. Do I play Aaron Jones? In a standard scoring format, I probably go Chuba and Herbert. Maybe not. I don't know. I got to think about this one. Minnesota's Vikings defense is actually pretty good. Yeah, I'd probably go with Chuba and Herbert in a standard scoring format. Thank you. Double J Miller says rank these in a half PPR. Olave, Rice, Mixon, and Zamir White. Okay, let's go ahead. Let me look at my half PPR flex rankings. So what is it again? It's Olave, Rice, Mixon, White. Okay. Olave is there. Mixon. Okay. Olave number 1. Rice. Wait. Where's Zamir White? Am I looking at half PPR? I am. Let me look up Zamir. Okay, so I have it as White, Zamir White number 1, Olave number 2, Rashee Rice number 3, Joe Mixon number 4. That's how I currently have it in a half PPR. Double J Miller. Thank you. Okay, Little Boy Blue sends in a question. Let me see here, Little Boy Blue. Little Boy Blue. Says, do I start the Jaguars or Raiders defense? I'm starting Jonathan Taylor currently. I have the Jaguars defense ranked higher, so that's the direction I would lean towards. Also, Kyler or Stroud in a 4-point per passing touchdown league. I'd play Stroud there. Thank you, Little Boy Blue. Appreciate it. Corey Dixon says, need an emergency quarterback. Taylor, Stick, or Stidham? I would play Tyrod Taylor if it's my team. Thank you. Joe P says, Raiders, Rams, or Broncos? I have the Raiders ranked the highest of the bunch. Also, flex Jaden Reed or Singletary. If it's a full PPR, I'll take Jaden Reed. If it's a half PPR, I'd be comfortable playing Singletary there. I don't have a problem with that. Thank you. Okay, trying to catch up on some of these questions. Let's see here. After... My goodness, where art thou? Joe P, we have Derek Blaze, who says, I need 1 wide receiver and 1 flex and a half PPR. We have Zamir White, DeAndre Hopkins, and Rashee Rice. I would take Rashee Rice at wide receiver, and I would take Zamir White in the flex there, Derek. Thank you. David Morgan says, I need a defense, PPR. I have the Ravens, but my gut doesn't like it. Waivers are Broncos, Rams, Eagles, Bears, Bucks, Seahawks, are also available. McBride and Evan Ingram at tight end. So in a full PPR, I like McBride at tight end. And in regards to the defenses you have available, I currently have the Bears ranked as the highest of the options that you have, as you can see to the right side of the screen. Thank you very much, David Morgan. Jax sends in a question, says full PPR, Flowers or McBride? If you're worried about McFlowers, is it McFlowers? That's a name. That's actually, I don't even know if that name actually exists. Is McFlowers an actual last name? I would assume that there are enough humans in the world in which that could be a last name. But nonetheless, in regards to a full PPR scoring format, correct? Let's see here. Full PPR, Flowers or McBride? I currently have, where's Flowers? Flowers is there. McBride is 6 spots below him. If you're worried about the injury, you can swap. Otherwise, I have him ranked higher. Flowers, that is. Thank you. Yellow Snowman says, half PPR, Jeff Wilson Jr., Cedric Wilson, or Demario Douglas, or potentially Romeo Doubs. I'll take Romeo Doubs out of the group. Thank you. Hugo says, full PPR start 2, Flowers, Shaheed, Addison. I'll take Flowers and Shaheed there. Thank you. Brett, actually, in a full PPR, would I play? Yeah, I'm still comfortable with that. That's not a problem. Brandon Cadiz says, full PPR, last flex spot, Addison, Osborne, Herbert, Wilson, Waller, CEH, or pick up Dortch/Chark. Playing CD, AJ, Kyron in the chip. Out of the available options that you have, it's either between Herbert and Waller for me. I don't think I play anybody else. Let me see where I have Waller in comparison in a full PPR. Let's go look up Waller. Darren Waller is ahead of Herbert in this circumstance in a full PPR, so I'll play Darren Waller there, Brandon. Thank you. C. Banger says, full PPR, start Osborne or Addison, or Johnston or Dortch. Let's think about this. What do we have? Full PPR, right? Okay, cool. So, of those available options, I currently have Addison ranked as the highest. So, that's the direction that I would go in. I'd play Jordan Addison there. C. Banger, thank you. Joe P says, 2 wide receivers, 2 flex, half PPR. I need the highest upside out of Chase, Rashee Rice, Devontae Smith, Zay Flowers, Zamir White, Derrick Henry, Cole Kmet, or Dallas Goedert. I'm assuming that's what you meant. Who gets more targets? Dallas Goedert or Cole Kmet? Yeah, Dallas Goedert will get more targets. I think that's the given, based on the fact he's had 18 in the last 2 games. But in regards to your prior question, half PPR, 2 wide receivers, I'd play Flowers and Rice as the 1-2 combo there. In terms of flex, I play Zamir White and Derrick Henry. That's the direction I'm leaning towards. And yes, I do believe that Dallas Goedert will have more targets than Cole Kmet. Is that an underdog play by any chance? Let me check. Does he have a target play? Is that what we're thinking? Let's see here. Let's go to Goddard. He has 6 targets as a number. That's not a bad one. I think I might take higher on that. You know what? That's not a bad idea. Who's another player that I could... Let me see. Does Kmet have a target number? He does not. Mainly because they didn't probably know if he was going to play. Isaiah Likely's at 5.0 targets. I'll probably take him higher on that as well. Those are the 2 that I like right now. I'm going to put that in. Dallas Goedert going higher on targets and Isaiah Likely going higher on targets as well. Yesterday at the end of our stream, we put together a little bit of a pick'em play. It ended up hitting, actually, which was, I mean, barely. I think David Montgomery very late in that game ended up getting us just over the edge, luckily, but we'll take it. We'll take it in every circumstance. Anyway, getting back to answering questions. We had a question that came in from, so we take care of that. We're good to go. C. Banjo we had that question. We took care of Joe P. We're good to go. Move on to Golden Vids, who says, full PPR, sit 1, White, DK, Flowers. Between the bunch, I'd probably end up sitting DK Metcalf. If you're worried about Zamir White, then of course you can sit him instead. But I would feel comfortable playing him. Ramblin' Man says, half PPR, flex banged up Kenneth Walker, or play it safe with Devontae Smith. Do I play it safe or do I just roll with Kenneth Walker? I'd play Kenneth Walker. As of right now, that's what I would do. It's pretty sketchy, but I'm comfortable rolling with it. I don't know what the rest of your team looks like. I don't know how the projections look in terms of your overall matchup. But if you're in like an even set game, I'd probably go with Kenneth Walker. If you're up by a lot and you're just trying to sustain a lead, I'd probably just play Devonta Smith just to be safe. Bills or Ravens defense with Von Miller out. Von Miller doesn't do anything anyway, so I'm not even like concerned about the Von Miller being out situation. If you guys go look at the stat lines in which Von Miller plays in these games, very seldom does he even log tackles, much less sacks. So wouldn't say that Von Miller is like a huge difference maker in this whole scheme. All right, we took care of that. We move on. We had a question from El Sway who says, why Moody? Worried since they mostly score PATs. It doesn't seem like gets much field goal opportunities. As of late, they've had a pretty good share of field goal opportunities. The thing is, like, they're going to score so many points on the Washington defense that even when they rack up 6 PATs and then only 1 field goal for 50 yards, he'll have his double-digit points. That's why I like Moody as much as I do. Stu sends in a question, says, full PPR flex, Bijan or T. Higgins? I have Bijan ranked higher. Thank you. DeAndre Steely says, Michael Pittman Jr. or Zamir White in a full PPR flex? Let me check. I'm fairly certain I have Zamir White ranked lower. Michael Pittman Jr. is in fact ranked higher than Zamir White in a full PPR. So I'll take Michael Pittman there. Thank you. We had a question that came in from David Beaton, who says, full PPR, 1 running back, 1 flex between Diggs, Achane, Elliott, White, ETN. ETN would be the running back, and the flex out of this group is probably going to be, let's see here. Okay, we have Diggs, Achane, Zeke. Where the heck is... Okay. As it currently stands in a full PPR, David, I have it as ETN and Diggs. The next highest player I have would be Achane. So if you're going to swap out Diggs, you play Achane instead. Thank you. Paven sends in a question. Paven Chari says, half PPR, should I use Tucker Kraft or Greg Dortch? In a half PPR, That's a really good question. I probably, against Minnesota, I probably play Greg Dortch there. Yeah, I probably play Greg Dortch there. Thank you. Moving on, we had Chip Mo. Chip, where is your question? Chip Mo says PPR, Barkley, Zeke, Samir, DJ Moore. I'm starting all 3 of those running backs, Chip. Thank you. I am sends in a question, says Kyler or Baker? I prefer Baker. Opponent has Evans and White, so I'm leaning towards Baker. Cool, sounds good. In case they pop off, I'm up 36 and have the same amount of players left to play. Fantastic. Love to see it, my man. We'll go ahead and change back to quarterback and tight end rankings. After IM's question, we had one from Brian Luna. Brian, thank you very much. Brian says, no Jacobs or Keenan Allen. Okay. That's rough, man. That is as bad as it gets. it is crazy how you can go this far, find so much success, and then get into the playoffs, and then both these guys are like, you know what, we're going to take the whole playoffs off. But hey, that just continues to speak to the roster that you've built. You have enough depth to be able to sustain it. Start 2.5 PPR. JSN, Osborne, Khalil Herbert, Quentin Johnston, Thielen, and or Demarcus Robinson. Thanks for the help this season, going for number one. Okay, so of the available options you have in a half PPR scoring format, it's probably, what do I have JSN in comparison? It's probably JSN and Khalil Herbert, to be honest. Khalil Herbert, Osborne, Johnston. Yeah, the two that I like the most is JSN and Khalil Herbert today, Brian. Thank you very much. Good luck. Eduardo says, I appreciate you, bro. I started the David Montgomery. Okay, cool. So at least you got some points there. I also have James Cook, Devon Achane. My wide receivers are Tyreek Hill and Rashee Rice, Puka Nacua, OBJ, JSN, Tyler Lockett, Gabe Davis, and Noah Brown. Okay, so you got a lot of players. Who do I flex and who should I sit? Okay, in an 8-man league. So of the available options that you have, right? So considering you played Montgomery because you didn't know that Raheem Mostert was going to be out, which again, I don't blame you. You would play James Cook alongside of David Montgomery. And then as your two starting wide receivers, you would play Tyreek Hill and Puka Nacua. And then in the flex, I would probably just play Rashee Rice there in a full PPR. If it's a half PPR, I'd go with Achane. But considering it is full, I'd go with Rashee Rice in the circumstance. So again, it's Montgomery, James Cook, Tyreek Hill, Rashee Rice, Puka Nacua. Thank you. Moving on to Chirag Gandhi says, pick 3. We have Singletary, Zamir, Etienne, and Achane. Of those available options, Zamir, Etienne, and Achane would be my suggestions. Thank you. Ashley Mullen says, championship full PPR, need 1 wide receiver, 2 flex options out of the following: Metcalf, Reed, Osborne, Elliott, Jones, Chandler, Achane. So the 2 wide receivers that I would play in this, you need 1 wide receiver and 2 flex. So the 1 wide receiver that I would play out of Metcalf, Reed, would be Reed. So Jaden Reed is the wide receiver. As for the 2 flex options, I would play Achane and Zeke in a full PPR. Thank you, Ashley. Appreciate it. Alex Apking. Alex, hope you're doing well. Says full PPR. I need an RB2 and a flex out of this group: Zeke, Zamir, James, Thielen, Godwin. Gibbs killed me last night. I need points, and all the points went to Lamb. Yeah, it's rough. Going up against Lamb, dude, that's tough. That's tough. Okay, so if you need an RB2 and a flex in a full PPR, let's check who I have ranked higher in a full PPR. Here we go. Where's the Dak Prescott snap cadence? James Conner's there. Zamir White's there. Okay. So of the available options you have here, Alex, if you need an RB2 and a flex in a full PPR, let me check where I have Godwin just in case. Boom. Chris Godwin is there. Zamir White is there. James. Okay, so I currently have I have Chris Godwin as the flex and Zamir White as the RB2 in a full PPR, Alex. Thank you. Luis Alcantar says, so Komet is in. The weather update, Andrew, and weather update, Andrew. 2 points per thing. Fields or Carr. I think I mentioned it earlier. I think we're okay going with we're okay going with Carr considering the conditions. But, I mean, I'm looking at still shots of the field right now. I'm looking at warm-ups from 9 minutes ago of Fields throwing in the snow. I'm going to fire up Fields. Nothing that I'm looking at is leaning me towards not playing him, okay? So that's where I'm at right now. You don't have to be there. You don't got to be there with me. You have an alternative option of Carr, but if it's me, I'm playing Fields. Gaga sends in a question, says full PPR. Pick 2 options for the flex. Full PPR, okay. Of those available options, I will take McBride and Connor. Gaga, thank you. Alrighty, where are we at? Trying to catch up to the best of my ability. For those of you guys who are joining us this morning, welcome. Hope you guys are doing well. If you guys haven't yet already, do me a solid. Click the like button down below. Greatly appreciate it. After Gaga's question, we move on to a question from Nels Santiago. Nels, hope you're doing well. Says, thank you for another great season, bro. Going to my 3rd championship in my super competitive league. PPR, Chandler or Aaron Jones? Currently, I have Chandler ahead of Aaron Jones. Thank you, Nels. Good luck. Greatly appreciate it. Let's see here. We have a question from Hugo who says, half PPR, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, and 1 flex. Flowers, Ridley, Nakua, Pacheco, Singletary, and Hopkins. Okay, so Hugo, of the options that you have available, Pacheco would be the RB1. Flowers would be wide receiver. Sorry, Nakua would be wide receiver 1. Flowers would be wide receiver 2. And I would flex Singletary. So it'd be Pacheco, Nakua, Flowers, Singletary. Thank you, Hugo. CJ Williams says full PPR, Tua or Stidham. Yeah, I'd much rather play Tua. Thank you. Levi Golding says Chuba Hubbard, Najee Harris, Brian Robinson Jr., or Jalen Warren in the flex. What's the score? Got an early lead because of the Browns defense, but he has Christian McCaffrey and Jalen Hurts, both with gravy matchups. Yes, they certainly do. Expect McCaffrey to score 25 points today. By the way, in terms of potential underdog plays, I think I have McCaffrey going higher than his 20-point total, and I also have Rachaad White going over his total. Those are two other plays that I like via underdog today. But in regards to your options that you have available, under the assumption that we're playing in a half PPR league, as it currently stands, I probably end up playing Hubbard over Brian Robinson Jr. and Najee Harris. If it's a full PPR, I'll take Jalen Warren. Thank you, Levi. I appreciate it. Joshua Bobbin says, start T. Higgins or Calvin Ridley. I'm probably considering the active nature of Jamar Chase. It could technically help. I'm not saying it will. It could technically help the case of T. Higgins, which that's kind of why I'm leaning in that direction. Like, imagine a reality in which Jamar Chase on the opposite side of the field is pulling his double coverage. Higgins on the opposite side of the field, considering the rapport he's built, he has scored a touchdown in each of the last 2 games with Jake Browning. I'm kind of more in favor of leaning towards that rather than playing Ridley with CJ Beathard. So I'll take T. Higgins in this circumstance. I at least know what I'm getting out of Jake Browning in comparison to CJ Beathard, who only throws to Evan Ingram. Hampy sends in a question, says, full PPR. I'm starting Godwin and Reed at wide receiver. Should I start Barkley or Devontae Smith in the flex? In a full PPR, I'd probably end up playing Barkley there if it's me. I'd love to see far more target usage out of Devontae Smith, but considering they're also playing in a really advantageous matchup in which running the ball is going to be such an easy part of their game, I think Devontae Smith's probably going to take a little bit of a backseat in comparison. So I'll take Barkley there. Thank you. Chad Bourne. Thank you, Chad. Very, very generous of you. Says, just wanted to say thank you for all the help in the past 4 seasons. Wow, that's, how about that? I watch your videos religiously. I know you must be brain dead after answering all these questions. We truly appreciate you. Happy New Year. Thank you very much, Chad. Greatly appreciate that. You know, as much as you maybe think that I'm, after answering all these questions, my brain may rot. It's only after I turn off the live stream where my brain completely shuts down. But otherwise, I've kind of conditioned my brain to be able to fire off on all these questions as much as I possibly can. Again, practice makes perfect, but I do appreciate that, Chad. Very kind words. Thank you. We had a question that came in from Amarmo, who said, Amarmo, 27, says, Zamir or Zay Flowers in a full PPR? If you're worried about Zay Flowers, you can pivot towards playing Zamir. I currently have Zay Flowers ranked higher in a full PPR. Thank you. Trey Perez says Stroud, Murray, or Fields. Currently, I have Fields ranked the highest, but I will say, considering the fact that Fields is right next to Stroud, if you're worried about the weather concerns, you could pivot accordingly. That's not a bad pivot. I think it's far more justifiable to pivot from Justin Fields to CJ Stroud or Matthew Stafford rather than pivoting from Justin Fields to like Tua or Jake Browning. You know what I mean? We had a question from Criminal Minds 06 who says, does Achane jump Pacheco in a PPR? No, he does not. Pacheco, considering Jerick McKinnon is out and CEH has been ill the whole week, Pacheco typically catches the ball like 4 or 5 times a game. Typically anyway, when he's the full-time starter. So he's definitely the better play in that circumstance. Thank you. Cool Music sends in a question. Cool Music says, Addison, Jacoby, or DeMario, and why? Out of the available options, not really knowing your scoring format, the target opportunity that DeMario Douglas will get in comparison to the other two just leads to more receptions and yards. Now, I can't guarantee who out of the 3 is going to score a touchdown, considering it's one of the more difficult metrics to potentially predict. But in this circumstance, if I'm just looking for target opportunity that will lead to receptions and yards and be the safest baseline play, I think Demario Douglas has pretty much got that in the books in comparison to Addison, who's dealing with an injury, and Jacoby Myers, who could barely get himself any targets within that offense that doesn't really throw the ball very well. Honestly, I wish they moved back to Jimmy G. I think Aiden O'Connell's just, it's tough to watch him play, man. I'll be honest. That's my stuff. Says, why Baker over Kyler? Just off of consistency of play. That's primarily it. And the reason why I had Kyler lower this week is because he's been ill the entire week, so we might have a flu game on our hands. But yeah, in terms of Baker, I just think he's, like we talked about it earlier, in terms of his consistency of getting like two touchdowns a game. He's been able to do it. I think it was like 6 of the last 8 games he's played. His consistency level is certainly there. Now, in comparison to Kyler, who has rushing upside, that obviously is a different dynamic and a different potential for upside there. But when I look at both the matchups, both of them are advantageous. I think Baker's consistency in a championship game, I'm leaning in that direction. Thank you. Let's see here. We took care of, that's my stuff. We took care of cool music. We have Carlos who sends in a question. Thank you, Carlos. Says, good morning, Andrew. Full PPR, 1 wide receiver, 1 running back, and 1 flex. Breece Hall put me up 27. Chase, DJ Moore, Devontae Smith, ETN, HN, Happy New Year's. Okay, so of the available options you have, I would play Jamar Chase, a wide receiver. I would play ETN, a running back, and I would play Devon HN and the flex. Congratulations, Carlos. I think you're bringing it home. Juan sends in a question. Says, only 1 running back left, Zamir White or HN, full PPR. Currently in a full PPR, I have HN ranked higher. Thank you. Halberd. How about that? Good name. Halberd says, not only is it a name, it's a weapon. How about that? Non-PPR pick 2, Demarcus Robinson, London, Deontay Johnson, and Noah Brown. In a non-PPR, if I'm picking 2 of these 4, it's Noah Brown and Demarcus Robinson. Thank you, Halbert. Spinal Samurai says, full PPR. I need to start a running back in a flex. Start Saquon, James Conner, HN, or Zeke. HN and James Conner are my 2 suggestions there. Thank you. We had a question from Tucker who says, hey there, got 52% odds to win after St. Brown last night. Full PPR, Zamir White or T. Higgins? I like Zamir White there. Also, Tua or Carr? I would love to play Tua. I just don't know if I can trust it. I'm sure they've watched last year's film where Tua went off in the 4th quarter, and I'm sure they're going to be in a position to be able to lock that off. I think I'm just playing Carr there. Actually, though, I'll probably go with I'll go with Zamir White and Carr there in that circumstance. Thank you for the question there, Tucker. We had a question that came in from Supreme Bean, who says, start 2, please. Full PPR. ETN, White, Walker, McBride. I'd probably go with both running backs. Okay, actually, let me redact that statement. Let me see where I have McBride in comparison to full PPR. Where's McBride? Where are you? McBride is there. Okay, so this is what I currently have it as. Supreme. If it is, so first and foremost, ETN plays. If it's Rashad White, he plays alongside ETN. If it's Zamir White, I would then pivot in a full PPR to play Trey McBride. Thank you. We move on to a question that came in from Kanye, who says, pick 2, half PPR, Zamir, Bijan, Nico Collins. If it's me in a half PPR, I play Zamir White and I play Nico Collins there. Thank you, Kanye. Tulugu. Thank you very much, Tulugu. Hope you're doing well. Says, pick 1 running back and 1 flex. Zamir White, Devon H. and Puka Nacua. Ooh, okay. If it's a half PPR, let me check if I have Puka Nacua higher than either of these 2 alternative options really quickly. Puka. I do have Puka Nacua ahead of both. So no, I'm not ahead of both. Sorry, I have him ahead of Zamir White. No, I have him behind Zamir White, but ahead of HN. So currently, if it's a half PPR or... So this is the way I would go about it, Tulugu, considering I don't know your scoring format. Half PPR, Zamir White, Puka Nacua. Full PPR, HN, Puka Nacua. Thank you. Michael H. says Chiefs, Broncos, or Jaguars. Currently, I have the Jaguars ranked the highest, number 4, Chiefs number 5, and Broncos number 9. So currently, it would be the Jaguars trying to take advantage of the matchup against the Carolina Panthers offense. Thank you. Let's hear. Gandhi sends in a follow-up question. Says, why Falcons over the Raiders? Why Falcons over the Raiders? I don't have the Falcons over the Raiders. So I have the Raiders over the Falcons. primarily because the Raiders defense has been extremely consistent as of late. In I think it's every single game that they have played since their coaching change, they've had 8 or more fantasy points except for one singular game. So they've been pretty damn good as of late in terms of a defense. So yeah, I like the Raiders. The Falcons could be a solid play, mainly because Chicago makes a bunch of mistakes on offense and because of the weather. But yeah, I like the Raiders defense there, Gandhi. Thank you. Ignacio Reyes says, likely Kmet or Kincaid. Between those three, I like Isaiah Likely. As for your follow-up question, Bills, Broncos, Eagles, Raiders, I have the Bills as my number 1 defense this week. Thank you. Cinco 2X says PPR, Kamara, Walker, Connor, Chandler, Zeke. Connor is probably the guy out of the bunch. Probably like Connor and then Zeke is number 2 and then Kamara 3 and then Walker 4, Chandler 5. That's probably the direction I go in there, Cinco. Thank you. We had a question that came in from Zach. Zach says, we starting Zamir White or Achane over Bijan? Yes, both. Thank you. We had a question that came in from Hector Martinez. Thank you, Hector. Says, I need a defense. Rams, Bears, Broncos, Jaguars, or... and that's it. Okay, thanks. So of the available, Bears is number 1, Jaguars is number 2, Rams is 3, and Broncos is number 4. Thank you, Hector. Appreciate it. Rankings on screen as it currently stands. As for... we move on to Brandon. Brandon's question is the following. Sit 1 in a full PPR. Jaden Reed or Derrick Henry or DK Metcalf. Let me check who I have ranked highest. Where's Henry? I have Derrick Henry ahead of DK Metcalf currently in a full PPR. Oh, that's a half PPR. Uh-oh, here we go. I have DK Metcalf ahead of him. So currently as it stands, let me think about this for a second. I'm going to play Jaden Reed. That's a given. Do I risk it with King Henry? Or do I just play DK Metcalf? I think there's enough volatility in the potential play of Derrick Henry to where I think in a full PPR, it's justified to play DK Metcalf there. If it was a half PPR standard, I could 100% just roll with Derrick Henry confidently, but I don't think I can do so. I think I'd probably play both wide receivers there, Brandon. Thank you. All right, after Brandon, we had D, who says confidence level in Godwin over Higgins in a half PPR. I would say that there's no reality with Jamar Chase active in which if I had 100 teams, if I had 1,000 teams, I would say less than 10% of the time I would ever start Higgins. And it would have to be for like super desperate purposes because I really do think Godwin, based on how well he played earlier this year against New Orleans, going for over 100 yards, and the fact that over the course of the last 3 games, 11 plus targets, and obviously his production has grown in terms of opportunity leading to success. I think it's just far too much opportunity there for me to ignore that. So yeah, I'm playing Godwin there very confidently. MVTT says, Happy New Year. Thank you very much, first and foremost, MV. Appreciate that. Sit 1, Pickens, Zeke, Kenneth Walker, DeAndre Hopkins. Considering Jamar Chase plays, who would you sit? I don't know why Jamar Chase technically matters in the terms of the potential upside of Pickens, Zeke, Kenneth Walker, or D-Hop, but if I was going to sit one, I would sit Pickens. Thank you. I'd play Zeke, Kenneth Walker, and D-Hop ahead of him. Elijah, or LJ. Sorry, it's not Elijah. I know you, LJ. You've been around for a while. Says, good morning, Andrew. I started CeeDee Lamb, Laporta, and Aubrey. Okay. I mean, we're good to go then. We're good start. I mean, at least Laporta in that last drive pretty much saved us. Okay. Need a flex in a full PPR out of Zamir White, DJ Moore, Kenneth Walker, George Pickens. Yeah, out of all 4 of those options, I prefer Zamir White. Thank you very much, LJ. Appreciate it. Moving on from that question, we have a question that was sent in from Zach once again. Let me go ahead and get to Zach's question. Zach's question is sit 1 between Bijan, Zamir White, Achane, non-PPR. I would sit Bijan legitimately. Rakesh B says half PPR. Connor, Devontae Smith, Reed. Between those 3, I'd play Connor in a half PPR. 4-point per passing touchdown, Fields or Stafford. As it currently stands, I'm comfortable playing Fields. If you want to pivot to playing Stafford, I have no problem with it at all, considering how well he's played as of late and the weather concerns. Fabian Crosco says, Texans or Baltimore. I have Texans ranked higher. Schultz or Waller. I have Waller ranked higher. Sorry, I have Schultz ranked higher. Apologies. In a full PPR, I think... Let me check. Do I have Waller higher in a full PPR? I think that's what it is. That's what I'm thinking. No, I still have Schultz ranked higher. Never mind. It's Schultz regardless. And have a good new year. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Fabian. Let's see here. That's my stuff. Says Chase or Godwin and why. All right. So in a half PPR, I feel like once I get to these two, I'm thinking I'm starting my stud regardless. I don't want to pull a 2022 week 17. You guys remember last year? The idea of sitting studs like Mike Evans and how terribly that could have potentially gone if you didn't play him. Like sometimes you just got to play your studs. And in this circumstance, if Jamar Chase is playing in a half PPR, he's the guy. That being said, in a full PPR, I do have Chris Godwin ranked higher because the target share has been unbelievably high. And I think the baseline of production there is just far safer. So if I'm picking between the two, I'll take Chase in a half and I'll take Godwin in a full. Thank you. Sinatra TV says Falcons defense or Texans. Currently have the Texans ranked higher, but I do like Falcons and the potential there, but I will take the Texans if it's my team. Austin Vincent says 1 point per reception. Pick 2 running backs. Kamara, Achane, White. If I'm picking 2 of the 3, I'll take Achane and Zamir White. Wide receivers, I need 1. DeMarcus Robinson or Judy. In a full PPR, I have Judy ranked higher. Thank you. Brandon Malone says full PPR Zamir or Zay Flowers. I currently have Zay Flowers ranked higher. Zion Williams says full PPR, pick 2, Swift, Zamir White. What is that? Jay Williams? Is that Javonte? If that's Javonte, I'll take Swift and White ahead of him. Thank you. BH from NH says Amari screwed me. I mean, he didn't really screw you. He got you to the dance, right? So thank you, Amari, for your week 16 contribution. We continue on. Hopefully somebody else is going to step up in his stead. So I have KJ Osborne or Noah Brown. Okay, cool. I like the Noah Brown there a lot. No one else is any good on the waivers. Who am I starting? Yeah, I'll go with Noah Brown there very confidently. Thank you. Andrew Clark says, just want to say thank you for everything. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate that. Zach Walker says, PPR. I need 2 running backs and a flex between Zeke, Aaron Jones, Connor, and McBride. Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. Let me cook. 2 running backs and a flex between Zeke, Aaron Jones, Connor. Okay, so Zeke and Connor are the 2 running backs I want to play. And I will take McBride there in the flex. Thank you very much, Zach Walker. Appreciate it. BCO says PPR, super flex. Okay, so flex / quarterback 2. Zay as in Flowers, JSN, Javonte Williams, Jarrett Stidham / Tyrod Taylor. Okay, so we need a flex and we need a quarterback 2. The QB2 that I would play is Tyrod Taylor. As for the other play, I would like to play Zay Flowers in a full PPR. So Zay Flowers, Tyrod Taylor. Those are the 2 suggestions there. BCO. Thank you. Johnny Ma says Zamir White, Kenneth Walker, and Ezekiel Elliott full PPR. I'll take Zamir White there at number 1. Zeke number 2. Kenneth Walker number 3. Thank you, Johnny. Moving on to Aaron Orozco, who says full PPR championship game. Need a flex. Zeke, Chandler, Zamir White. Okay, wait. You mentioned Chandler twice. Okay, so let's redact the first Chandler. Zeke, Zamir White, Ty Chandler, Ridley. We need to flex out of those options in a full PPR. I'll take Zamir White out of them all. Zamir 1, Zeke 2, Chandler 3, Ridley 4. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate it. Abby Bronner. Thank you very much, Abby. Very generous of you. Says, thanks, Andrew, for all the help this year. Your content provided. Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Girls play fantasy football too. Of course they do. I need to start between these following options. Zeke, Chandler, and Singletary. Okay, so if we were in a position, Abby, in which we're playing in a half PPR scoring format. Let me see. Do I have it changed in a full? Do I have Singletary ranked lower? I don't think I do. I think I might still have Yeah. In both circumstances, half or full PPR, Abby, I'm going with Zeke and I'm going with Singletary there. Thank you, Abby. I appreciate it. Gandhi sends in a follow-up question. Says, sorry, I meant why Texans over Raiders. Got it. The primary reason why I like the Texans over the Raiders is because last time out, with the Texans offense wasn't as great. They had Case Keenum under center. Case Keenum only had 1 touchdown, 229 yards, and threw an interception. So a couple short field opportunities, a lot of punts in that game. They also didn't have Kaimi Fairbairn, so they couldn't really kick it through the uprights. A lot of punting opportunities in that circumstance. But in the whole equation, the Texans defense still scored double-digit points against the Tennessee Titans offense, even with their offense being lackluster and giving the Tennessee Titans as many opportunities as they could possibly handle with Will Levis. So even with Will Levis coming back, I'm pretty confident in the idea that the Texans will be a solid defense. Now, could the Raiders technically be better? Sure. Each of the last 2 games, they have scored defensive touchdowns. Each of the last 3 games, they have scored defensive touchdowns. They've had Pick sixes back-to-back weeks from, is it back-to-back weeks? I'm trying to actually remember now. I know for each of the last 2 weeks they've scored a touchdown. I don't know about the last 3. But either way, if they score a touchdown, they're going to be better than the Texans. Or do they have a higher likelihood of doing so because they've done it in the past? I wouldn't say that that's technically true, but it's in the realm of possibility. But for right now, I do like the Texans because of the matchup overall. Let's see here. Jordan Lenz says, PPR, Bijan or Zeke, and why? I like Zeke, honestly, because of the target share. I look at Bijan, I look at the potential of the matchup, the difficult nature of it, considering they're taking on Chicago. I know that Zeke has a difficult matchup himself, but considering his target counts have been like 9, 7, and 11 the last 3 games, regardless of how much yardage he accumulates, the Patriots offense are moving the ball, and they will be able to move the ball against the Buffalo Bills, just like the Chargers were able to last week in the absence of Keenan Allen and Herbert. So I think that there's going to be opportunities for Zeke if he falls into the end zone, which is very, honestly, it's more often than not he's done it this season, unless, Kevin Harris steals a touchdown. I think he is just a safer play considering the PPR upside that he's presented. Now, if Bijan Robinson wants to go ahead and catch the ball 7 times himself, they're going to be very similar plays. But for right now, I do have Zeke slightly ahead of him. Tucker says, thanks for the answer. One more, Bears or Raiders? Yeah, I'll take the Bears there, considering weather concerns. Excuse me, weather? I'll take the weather in that circumstance. Dave Curtis says, thanks for helping out and getting to the championship. Thank you, Dave. I greatly appreciate that. Alexander Raw. I'm trying to catch up to the best of my ability. Where are we? Where's Alexander's question? All right, I gotta get quick with these questions. Okay. Full PPR, Superflex, Geno, Rashee Rice, James Conner, Bijan Robinson. In a full PPR Superflex league, I would play Geno Smith there. Thank you. Moving on, Telugu says half PPR, JJ or Puka Nacua. I currently have Justin Jefferson ranked higher than JJ. Worried about Hall at quarterback. I wouldn't worry too much. He's actually pretty decent. The only reason he didn't immediately get the starting spot over Dobbs a couple weeks ago is because he sustained a concussion in that game against Atlanta. So Jaren Hall was the plan for the future. He's now back. Dom says Stafford or CJ, playing Christian McCaffrey and Josh Allen. Stafford or CJ playing against Christian. Yeah, I mean, I'm perfectly fine playing CJ Stroud there. I think I'm comfortable with that overall potential for upside. Michael Amato says likely or Zamir White in a full PPR. I'll take Zamir White there. Thank you. Salty Reels Fishing says full PPR, Zamir White or Mark Ingram. Good question. I will take Zamir White there. Thanks, man. That was actually a good one. I don't even know if you meant Mark Ingram. You may have meant somebody else, but I'm just going to keep it going. Riley says Tyler Lockett or Isaiah Likely. In a full PPR, I have Isaiah Likely ranked higher. Is that correct? Actually, let me concur with my own rankings. Likely is there. Lockett is ranked higher. I'm an idiot. Never mind. Tyler Lockett's the suggestion. Is that full PPR? Yeah, it is full PPR. It's only half PPR. It's the other way around. Mitchell McGuire sends in a question. Thank you, Mitchell. Says Kupp, Ayuk, Olave, Bijan, Achane. Start 3 in a full PPR. In a full PPR, no joke, I think I start all 3 wide receivers. Yes, I do. I start all 3 wide receivers. Give me Kupp, give me Ayuk, give me Olave there, Mitchell. Thank you. Luis Castillo says, full PPR, Nico or Zamir White? I have Nico Collins ranked higher in a full PPR. Thank you. Kane sends in a question. Says, start Douglas or Addison? Currently, I have Douglas ranked higher. Half and full PPR. I have Osborne in case Addison is out. Even if he's in, do I trust it? In comparison, with Hawkinson out, it makes it a little bit more of a palatable potential play. You have no, I think I'd still play Douglas there. If you want to go for the risk of playing Addison, I don't know if it's technically a risk per se, but if you want to go down that road of Jaren Hall with the number 2 receiver, you can, but I would play Douglas. Thank you. Zach sends in a question, says, let's see here. Non-PPR, start 2, DJ Moore, JSN, Demarcus Robinson, and was that Romeo Dobbs? In a non-PPR, looking for upside in regards of touchdowns and in that kind of nature, I go with DJ Moore and Demarcus Robinson there, Zach. Thank you. Jordy Peasy. Jordy, hope you're doing well. Says for 5K, huh? Okay, here we go. Pick 3, Jamar Chase, Rice. Don't tell me the odds. Don't ever tell me the odds. I'm like Han Solo over here. John, okay, so what do we have here? So we have Rashee Rice, we have Zeke, we have Achane, we have Jamar Chase. Assuming it's okay, I don't know what your scoring format is. Jordy, do me a favor. Let me know your scoring format before I go ahead and make a proclamation or subject you to whatever the heck suggestion I have. Ruvoli says 10 team, Nico, Rice, or Henry. In a full PPR, 10 team, I'm fairly certain it's either Rice or Nico Collins. I have Rice ahead of Nico Collins by literally 1 spot. Thank you. Ibrahim Osman says Zeke or Chase full PPR. I have Chase ranked higher in a full PPR. Follow up. Pollard had a bad day yesterday. Yes, he did. So yeah, I'll go with Chase. Let's go for the upside. Justin L says Pickens, Reed, DJ Moore, Higgins, pick 2 in a full PPR. The 2 that I have ranked highest is DJ Moore and Jaden Reed there. Justin, thank you. We have a question from Thurnist who says, greetings and salutations. In a full PPR, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 flex. We have Mixon, Chandler, Godwin, Reed, Higgins, Davis, Johnson, Goddard, likely. Okay. One running back, 1 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 flex. Okay, so let's go for this first and foremost. Full PPR, I have Goddard ranked higher than likely. So I'll take Goddard there in a full PPR at tight end. As for running back, Mixon, Chandler. Between the 2 of those, I currently in a full PPR have Chandler ranked higher. Moving on. We move on to wide receiver, Godwin, Higgins, Reed, Davis, Johnson. I have Godwin as my number 1 wide receiver there. I would play Reed in the flex. So it would be Chandler, Godwin, Reed, Goddard. Thank you. After Thurnist, we have Kingsley. Let me see if I can find Kingsley. Kingsley says half PPR. Aaron Jones or Ty Chandler? I'll take Ty Chandler there. Follow-up question. I also can't believe I'm asking this. Derek Carr or Mahomes? I'll take Mahomes there. Yeah, that's I don't blame you for asking the question, though. I appreciate it. Okay, so who was I looking for earlier? I'm looking for Jordy, right? Jordy, where you at, my man? All right, I'm waiting for you, Jordy. Assuming it's a half PPR, Jordy, I'd probably go with Jamar, Rice, and Achane. Even in a full PPR, I think I'm going Jamar. Yeah, Jamar, Rice, Achane. Let's say regardless of format, that's the primary suggestion as of right now. Thank you. Matt H. Matt, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Says half PPR, need 2 running backs and a flex. We have Saquon. We have Walker. We have Zamir White and Collins. Okay, hold up. Let me cook. 2 running backs, 1 flex. Saquon, Walker, Zamir White, Collins. So in a half PPR with 2 running backs and 1 flex, I would go with Zamir White, Saquon Barkley, and Nico Collins. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. Ricardo Torres says, super flex, full PPR, Singletary or Jaden Reed. Currently, I have Jaden Reed ahead of Singletary in a full PPR. Lost Trevor Lawrence and, what does it say? I lost T-Law. So CJ, Minshew, or Stick. Between the 3, I'll take CJ Stroud. So for right now, Jaden Reed number 1, CJ Stroud number 2, had Brees and Browns. So wish me best of luck, 3K pot. Congratulations. Let's hope for the best, Ricardo. Best of luck. Bryce Lawson sends in a question. Thank you, Bryce. Says, I need a flex in a full PPR. Connor, Ridley, Demarcus Robinson. Between the 3, I will play James Conner there. Thank you, Bryce. Appreciate it. John Koziar says 12-team PPR. I got Jalen Hurts. I got Devontae Smith. I got DJ Moore, Christian McCaffrey, Kyron Williams, Trey McBride, and Chris Godwin to start. In place of injured Pacheco, no question. Wish me luck. Thank you. Okay, sounds good. Let's get it. Here we go. Moving on to next question. We have Jason. Where's Jason's question? I lost it. Oh, man, where did Jason's question go? Jason says, with Mostert out now, flex 2, Chandler, Singletary, Reed. Chandler, Singletary, Reed. I probably go Chandler and Singletary in a half PPR standard and Singletary and Reed in a full PPR. Thank you. Nathan Salazar says, full PPR, Deontay Johnson or Gus Edwards or Tyjae Spears. Out of those 3, I'll take Gus Edwards. Thank you. Rob Saxton. Or Saxon, sorry. Saxon, where art thou? Rob Saxon says, standard, pick 2 running backs and a flex. We have Zeke, Achane, McBride. Okay, so what? There's only 3 options there. So 2 running backs and a flex. There's only 3 options there, Saxon. I'm confused. Let me see. Is there other question? Standard, pick 2 running back and flex. Zeke, Achane, McBride. PPR, need 2 running back and flex. Barkley. So, Rob, do me a favor. Who's the 4th option in the first question? Because in the second question, it makes sense. PPR, need 2 running backs and a flex, and we have 4 options. We have Barkley, we have Barkley, Cook, Zamir, and Chase, right? So in that circumstance, I would probably end up playing, let me see here, in a full PPR running back conversation, I would probably end up going with like Chase, Cook, Zamir in that second league, but I don't know about the first one because there's not a 4th option there. Thank you. Let me know when you just type it in the chat and I'll try to get to it right now. So we're looking for, okay, let me make a notepad. So we're looking for Jordy, Nope, that's not what I'm going to do. Let's open this, close this. No, don't save. We're looking for Jordy, and now we're looking for Rob Saxon. Okay, so moving on from Rob Saxon's question, we have Zachary, who says full PPR, Ridley or Ty Chandler. I'll take Ty Chandler. Thank you. Luke Rosenquist says, I need a flex play in a half PPR. Warren, London, Demarcus Robinson, Osborne. Out of those available options in a half PPR, let me check where I have Warren in comparison to Demarcus Robinson. Warren is there. He is ahead of Demarcus. Is he? Yes, he is ahead of Demarcus Robinson. So I would play Jalen Warren there. Luke, thank you. Tyler Franco says Ridley, Reed, Eckler, full PPR. Really good question. Let me check where I have Reed in comparison to Eckler, because those are the only two that I would really contest playing potentially. Jaden Reed is there. Eckler is there. I have Jaden Reed ahead of him going into today's game. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Moving on, we had DK Mitchell. Thank you, DK. It says full PPR, wide receiver 2 in a flex. Nico Pittman. Nico Pittman right now. Other options are Chase, Devontae Smith, Achane, JT, Eckler, and Zeke. Whew. Okay, hold up. Nico and Pittman are currently in right now. You have JT as well. I think I have to play JT there, right? In a full PPR flex, I have JT and I have Michael Pittman Jr. as my 2 highest ranked players. So that's what I would suggest doing, playing JT and Pittman. If you want to play Nico and Pittman, I mean, I don't technically have any issue with it because I think he's a great play this week. But that's what I would suggest. Thank you. Justin Wall says full PPR, DJ Moore or Singletary. Let me check who I have ranked higher. DJ Moore is there. He is ahead of Singletary in a full PPR. Thank you. Dalton D says, hey, Andrew, love the content. Addison is playing. So Addison, Higgins, or Aaron Jones. I would still play Aaron Jones over the bunch. Thank you. Gigabyte says, thank you for everything, Andrew. Made it, brother. Pick 2 wide receivers and a flex. Full PPR. Rice, Collins, Flowers, Reed, Aaron Jones, Elijah. No, that's Ezekiel Elliott and Jonathan Taylor. Okay, so 2 wide receivers. Rice and Collins are the 2 that I'm playing. The flex is going to be Jonathan Taylor. Thank you, Gigabytes. Thank you. Appreciate it. Moving on, we had the Mad Capper, who says, in a half PPR flex, Pacheco or Olave. Thanks. In a half PPR, I'm playing Pacheco. In a full, I'd play Olave. Thank you. Anna B. Let's see, Anna, where are you at? Anna B. Says, in a full PPR, who would you sit? Chase, Evan Ingram, Zamir White, Chandler, Singletary, or Reed? Am I only sitting one? If I'm only sitting one of these players in a full PPR, I'm probably sitting either Ty Chandler or Devin Singletary. I'd like to play Chase. I'd like to play Reed. I'd like to play Ingram. I'd like to play White. I'd probably end up sitting Chandler I'd probably end up sitting Chandler if I'm only sitting one. If I'm sitting multiple, then I sit both those running backs, both him and Singletary. Thank you, Anna. Appreciate the question. After Anna, we have Nelson Rincon, who says, hey, Andrew, I need 2 running backs, 1 flex option, spot open, okay. Who do I start? Eckler, Swift, Elliott, Flowers, likely, full PPR. If it's my team, I play Swift at running back. I also play Elliott at running back, and I flex Flowers. Thank you. We have a question from CB, who says, 2 flex, non-PPR. Let me go ahead and change the rankings on screen for anybody who needs kicker and defenses, by the way. Thank you. 2 flex, non-PPR. Metcalf, Javonte Williams, Hubbard, Herbert. Why Houston over Denver? Okay, it would take me too long to get into the entire minutia of that, but anyway, I like Houston over Denver. Nonetheless, Metcalf, Javonte, Hubbard, Herbert, flex 2. If I'm flexing 2 of those options, it's probably Javonte Williams and Chuba Hubbard. I think those are the 2 that I play. Do I play Herbert instead of one of them? I'm thinking Javonte and Herbert, actually. Let's go. Ah, man, it's tough. Yeah, let's go Javonte Williams and let's go Khalil Herbert there, CB. Thank you. All right, let me see. What was I looking for? I was looking for Saxon. Saxon, you there, my man? Saxon says 2 running backs. Okay, so we still on the same. Okay, so Saxon, there's no changes there. Waiting for any update. All right. Sorry. Apologies for the coughing. Trying to get through this. We have Alex Martinez that has a question. All right, Alex Martinez says, Kenneth Walker or Devin Singletary in a full PPR. I like Kenneth Walker there. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate it. Cash Kid Cardi says, Bijan Robinson or Derrick Henry in a standard. In a standard scoring format, give me Derrick Henry there. Appreciate it. Joshua Hart says, not a PPR. Okay. Rashee Rice or Joe Mixon. So if it's not a PPR league, so if it's a standard scoring format, so it's 0 points per reception. I'll take Joe Mixon there in that circumstance. Thank you. Let's see here. We scroll down. We find a question from John Hernandez who says, championship, need help in a 10-team. Okay, let's see here. Need help. Half PPR, I need 5. Okay, we need 5. Zamir, Achane, Bijan, Cook, Pittman, Evans, Puka. Then play. Okay, so let's figure this out first and foremost. If we need 5.5 PPR, I'm playing Cook. I'm playing. Oh, gosh. Okay, I'm playing Cook. I'm playing Zamir. I'm playing Achane. I'm playing Puka, and I'm playing Evans. Those are the 5. As for Waller or Kraft for upside, give me Waller. It's a great matchup against the LA Rams. Thank you. Luis Castillo says, standard, Hill or Collins? Starting Noah Brown in the flex. Hill or Collins? Are we talking about like Tyreek Hill? I mean, what other Hill is there besides Taysom, right? Hill? It's just Tyreek and Justice, technically. Nobody's playing Justice Hill, right? Standard league, Hill or Collins? Under the assumption it's Tyreek Hill, you know to play Tyreek Hill. Under the assumption that it's a different Hill, maybe it's Taysom or Justice, you play Nico Collins 1,000%. Thank you. Follow up to that, Luis says swap Brown for London, Samuels, Demario Douglas, or Adam Thielen. Swap Brown, as in Chase Brown, for London, Curtis Samuel, Demario. No, I wouldn't. I think we're good to go there, Luis. Thank you. Jaw Dropping Comedy says, glad you're feeling better. Thank you very much. I am feeling a lot better than, obviously, last week it was shambles. Half PPR, Ridley or Godwin? Give me Godwin there. Jaw Dropping, thank you. Clayton Smith says, pick 2, maximum upside. Zamir, Diggs, Zeke. Maximum upside, it's Zamir White and Stephon Diggs is maximum upside. John Koziar says, Pacheco available. Rock with him or go with Godwin in a PPR. Let me check who I have ranked higher. Full PPR Godwin. Okay, let me check my flex. I have Pacheco 2 spots ahead of Godwin in a full PPR. I'm pretty confident that Pacheco's a solid play today. Thank you. When I be solid, I mean like he's gonna win you the week and maybe win you the championship. Chris Owen says, for my wide receiver 2 slot today, should I go with DeAndre Hopkins or Jaden Reed? I prefer Jaden Reed there. Thank you. Moving on to Evan Sellis, who says Achane over Zeke in a PPR. Yes, I will take Achane over Zeke. Thank you. Dat Rasta says, full PPR, Connor, Ty Chandler, mix and pick 2. In a full PPR, if I'm picking 2 of those 3, I will take Ty Chandler and I will take James Conner. Thank you, Rasta. Flipside Fishing, long time no see. Thank you very much for the generous super chat. Says, I'm in the championship largely due to your channel. I lost Waddle and Mostert for the championship. I'm picking up White to replace Mostert. Fantastic. But who do I play over Waddle? Godwin or Reed? Thanks. Yeah, regardless of scoring format, half PPR, full PPR, I would go with Chris Godwin. Besides the fact that Jaden Reed's coming off of the injury, Chris Godwin, again, 11 plus targets each of the last 3 games, continues to get himself a high usage. And of course, typically, Mike Evans finds himself struggling against the New Orleans Saints. I can't guarantee that happens again today. But if in fact the streak continues for Mike Evans and his struggles against that defense, Chris Godwin is the next answer in that offense that is getting himself more targets than Mike Evans, in fact, as of late. So he is probably going to be a pretty solid play today. So that's the direction I lean in. I can't believe my camera has decided to prefer my microphone over my face. Okay. Well, you guys don't need to see my face in HD, right? We're good. Hello? Okay, there we go. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. All right, we're about 5 minutes away from the game starting. Let me go ahead and let me look at the final look at this game in Chicago. Looking at the still shot photos of people in the stands, it's not like it's one of those like Omega snow games, right? It's not one of those Philadelphia LaShawn McCoy games that I'm referring to, right? So it's not to the point to where I'm afraid of playing Justin Fields. I will be firing him up. I'm okay with it. I don't have a problem. Thank you. All right, couple more questions here. So again, Flipside Fishing, thank you very much. Very generous of you. Moving on from Flipside, we had one from Monil Patel. Thank you. It says Flowers on a snap count or Lockett. If you're worried about the snap count, which I don't know if is going to be existent, again, we got to be very careful there. I would play Flowers. And as for Herbert or Jeff Wilson, I would 1000% play Khalil Herbert there. Moving on, Fields or Baker Mayfield. If you're worried about the weather, you can pivot. It's close enough in my rankings to where I'm not upset about it. I think that'd be a pretty solid pivot if you're going to make one. Nicholas sends in a question, says, I benched Flacco Now I don't know if I start Jarrett Stidham or Sam Howell as my QB2 in a super flex. Projected are 50-50. If it's me, I'm playing Jarrett Stidham. I don't think I can play Sam Howell, actually. I don't know if I can play Sam Howell. He's looked awful in the last 2 games he's played. Awful. Like, they had to pull him from the game. He looks that bad. I think I just play Jarrett Stidham there, honestly. Thank you. All right, guys. I'm continuing to try to answer questions to the best of my ability. We've caught up. Let me just make sure. I'm looking for Saxon still. Saxon, where you at, my man? Saxon. The last thing that I saw from Saxon, 2 running backs, 1 flex, Zeke, Achane, McBride. Again, there's 3 names there, and you're asking for 3 players, so that pretty much fills it. If you need 2, maybe you need 1 running back and 1 flex, I'd probably play in a standard league both the running backs in that circumstance, Saxon. But yeah, in the second league, you know that, like I mentioned earlier, we'll take Cook, Zamir, and Chase. Thank you. All right. Did Jordy Peasy end up coming in here? Half PPR? Okay, Jordy. We keep with the status quo of what I mentioned earlier. I wouldn't change it now. Half PPR is good to go. Thank you, Jordy. Okay, we had a couple questions came in. One from Florian Funk, who says, half PPR, Taylor, Zamir, Achane, Saquon. I need 2. Thank you. Taylor, Jonathan Taylor, I'm firing up, and I'm also firing up Zamir White there. Those are the 2 that I would play. Thank you, Florian. Luis Castillo says, meant to say I was starting Hill and Nico. Sorry, I'm starting Hill, Nico, and Noah Brown, and if I should swap Brown for the mentioned wide receiver. Got it. No, I wouldn't swap it. I would keep it as is. I'm okay starting both Houston wide receivers as it currently stands. Thank you, Luis. Yeah, because if we're gonna play London, Curtis, no, I wouldn't make any swaps there. I would just play both the Houston receivers. Thank you, Luis. Rob Vicious Pulls says, full PPR, Olave or Ayuk in the flex. Let me check who I've ranked higher. Currently in a full PPR, I have Ayuk at 7 and Olave at 8. I have them back to back. I think they're both great plays. I have Ayuk 1 spot ahead. Ham says PPR versus CeeDee Lamb. Flex Devontae Smith, Zeke, Connor, or Aaron Jones. If it's me, I'm playing Connor. Thank you. Henry or Achane PPR. Retro, I have Achane ranked higher. Collectible gold says Bijan, Jonathan Taylor, Zeke, was that Zamir White and Singletary. If it's my team collectible gold, I'm going Taylor, White, and Singletary in that. Sorry, Taylor, White, and Bijan in that order. Given the weather, are we still playing Fields over Stroud? You can play Stroud there. I don't have a problem with it. I don't think I'm pivoting, but I don't mind the pivot overall if you have the available option to do so and you don't feel comfortable with it. Ham, we took care of you. Kyle says, Tucker Kraft, Jeff Wilson, or Cedric Wilson. I'll take Tucker Kraft there. Mixon or Henry, full PPR. I'd play Henry there. Etienne or Pacheco. I have Etienne ranked higher in a full PPR. But if you want to play Pacheco, Daniel Ortiz, considering Etienne's lack of production as of late, and of course Trevor Lawrence's absence, I don't have no problem playing Pacheco there. Chuba Hubbard or Noah Brown. Depends on format. If it's a full PPR, I'll play Noah Brown. If it's a half standard, I'll take Chuba. If somebody needs to see kicker and defensive rankings, there they are. Boom, boom, boom. And there we are. It's 10 a.m. Thank you, everybody. I greatly appreciate it. Good luck. Let's all win some fucking championships, shall we? Let's hope for the best. Let's hope for no injuries, and let's hope for a lot of upside. Let's get some exciting games, huh? Let's get some overtime games. Let's get some absolute shootouts. Either way, thank you, everybody. For those of you guys who play in a Week 18 championship, I'll see you in the new year. For those of you guys who this is where the line ends, I'll see you guys next season. Thank you, everybody. I'll be live streaming over the course of the next week at a pretty consistent basis. I'm going to try something a little bit different in the next week. I'll be live streaming probably every day this upcoming week, Monday through Sunday. And I'll have a lot of potential pick'ems plays in regards to Underdog and all that kind of jazz. So if you guys are interested, even though you're not in a championship game or your season is over and you're not playing a Week 18, be sure to swing on by, so show some love. I greatly appreciate it. Happy New Year, everyone. Best of luck. It's been a great season. Let's hope for the fucking best, all right? I'm going to cue the music, and I'm going to go off into the sunset. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys.